For most people, 1963 was a long time ago.
A bulletin from CBS News. President Kennedy has been shot by a would-be assassin in Dallas, Texas.
For the New York Giants, 23 years between division championships has seemed like a lifetime. Somehow, the two teams do not seem to be that different. From Y.A. Tittle to Phil Simms, and the trademark defense has endured the passing of time. In the words of Lawrence Taylor, we believe in fate. We seem predestined to do something great. There are sighs of relief in New York today. The Giants are once again champions and host the St. Louis Cardinals. Good afternoon, everyone. Sunny and cold in New York. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Giants in a sellout crowd at Giants Stadium. There are the standings, and there's no catching them now. The Redskins lost yesterday. The Giants clinched it. And now they'll be battling for the home field advantage. I'm Jack Buck, and Joe Theismann and I certainly congratulate the Giants. They're a terrific football team, a quality team, and they deserve to win. But let me be the bad guy. Some people are already talking about Pasadena in the Super Bowl. It's a little early, Joe.
Well, if you check your watch, it is a little bit early. There's 2 games left in the season. The Giants want to win this football game today for those 2 reasons. Number one, they want to prove that they earned it, not necessarily that it was given to them. Secondly, they have to win these last 2 games to secure a home field advantage through the playoffs. Very important to the team going to a Super Bowl possibly.
It really is. Will McDonough on the pregame show talked about some coaching changes here and there in the NFL. In St. Louis, though they've won only 3 games, they're happy with their coach. And these Cardinals can be very tough.
They can be very tough, and they've come very close in the last few ball games. They gave Washington a real tough game. They played to a 10-10 tie last week against Philadelphia. They played these Giants very tough the last time out. They may be a down football team, but they're not out, and they're on their way to being a very good ball club.
The Giants have won the toss. They'll receive. Temperature 27. It's a good thing the sun is shining. And we have a bit of a wind, and we'll talk about the effects of that wind here at Giants Stadium as Eric Schubert, the former Giant, kicks it off to McConkey or Solomon Miller. A line drive kick, and McConkey watches it go into the end zone. It wasn't touched. It'll come out to the 20-yard line, and we'll go from there. Phil Simms, the quarterback. They gave him a rousing ovation when he came in today onto the field. They used to boo the heck out of him. They give him another hand now as he starts his offense. Here's the defense he'll be up against. Bob Glasby, David Galloway, now Baker up front. Linebackers for the Cardinals. Freddie Jonan and Charlie Baker on the outside. E.J. Jr. and Nico Noga inside. Lionel Washington is starting at left corner. And Cedric Mack on the other. Along with Leonard Smith and Lonnie Young. And Carthon goes in motion. Receiver Stacy Robinson. They certainly knew what they wanted to do on the first play, and it's a big first down out to the 38-yard line. Here's the remainder of the Giant offense. Besides Simms and Robinson, we have Joe Morris, Maurice Carthon, Bobby Johnson, and Stacy Robinson are the wide receivers. The offensive line they're so proud of: Brad Benson, Billy Ard, Bart Oates, Chris Godfrey, Carl Nelson, and Mark Bavaro. That was a 19-yard gain. McConkey is in on first down from the 39. Morris running left. And a big gain. I said these Cardinals, the ball came loose. The ball came loose, but the Giants got it back, and that's a big gain by Joe Morris. What are they going to try to do against the Cardinals, Joe?
Well, I think the Giants want to try and establish their running game. Their passing game has carried them to their last 2 victories, but they feel like with the weather the way it is, the type of stadium and the area they play in here in New York, they want to be able to establish that running game, knowing that the weather may not favor the passing game as the season progresses on into the playoffs.
The ball is out to the 44, and it is second down and 4. Barth on. And he plows out to midfield for a first down. A tackle made by Lonnie Young. And what do the Cardinals have to do to stop this New York running game?
Well, I think the Cardinals are going to have to commit their linebackers to try and blitz. You know, you blitz for two reasons: to put pressure on the quarterback and to stop the running game. It's going to be important that their corners play well and their linebackers get up to stop the running game. I don't believe they can do it with the front three they have.
2 first downs for the Giants, and McConkey is back in there. First down pass. There he is. Morris dropped it. Morris dropped it at 2nd and 10, and the crowd groaned.
That's the type of a pass that a quarterback wants to just take and hand to the receiver. Joe Morris is wide open. You'll see him going down the left side of your screen, right there in the corner. He'll start down the field. Now the safety bites over. Sims just tries to give it to him. Just lay it where he can get to it and let him a little bit too far inside.
There we saw one of the weaknesses of the Cardinals. Their linebackers do not drop back well into pass coverage.
No, they're more run-type linebackers than they are pass-type cover people. So, yeah, it does present a problem.
2nd down and 10. Bobby Johnson in motion, and Morris is smothered on the blitz. That's what you talked about, Joe, blitzing to stop the run.
Well, they're going to have to. I just don't feel like that the 3 people up front with Galloway, Baker, and Clasby, that they have the ability to go in and just stop the running game of the Giants. It's going to require Freddie Joe Nunn blitzing and Charles Baker from the outside. They'll have to try and funnel Morris back into the help that he has from the inside linebackers and the defensive linemen.
So a drop pass, a loss of 5, and it's 3rd down and 16. Giants have completed 36% of their 3rd down plays. Dennis Thurman, Wayne Smith are in for the Cardinals defensively. 4-man rush. Staying in the pocket, it's incomplete. Very good coverage by Lionel Washington. He got in front of Bobby Johnson, and it's time for the Giants to punt. The number 1 punter in the NFC and the number 2 kicker in the National Football League is Sean Lendetta. And he is kicking with the wind here in the first quarter. And there's a rookie back here for the Cardinals inside the 15, by Sikahema, who might make the Pro Bowl. It's like kicking a rock. Sikahema lets it bounce. He's tackled at about this 17-yard line. And we have played 2.5 minutes. The tackle downfield was made by Robbie Jones. The defensive line of the Giants, a 3-man front: George Martin, the rookie Eric Howard, and Leonard Marshall. And the terrific linebackers, Carl Banks, Gary Reasons, Harry Carson, and Lawrence Taylor. We have a change at the left corner with Elvis Patterson regaining his old spot. Perry Williams on the other corner. And Kenny Hill and Herb Welch are the safety men, with Terry Kennard out of the lineup. And there is number 56, and there is Neil Lomax, and he is running against a very, very tough defense, particularly on the ground, from their own 17 for the Cardinals. Mitchell is in the lineup along with Earl Farrell. And Marsh is on a wing. He's the tight end, and he's in motion. And a toss to Farrell. He was shut down by the Eagles last week and taken down by Lawrence Taylor.
You'll see with all the movement in the pre-lineup for the Cardinals, what they want to do is, you see the tight end Marsh going in motion. They don't want Lawrence Taylor on the weak side. They feel like the best way to attack the Giant defense is to put somebody on Lawrence Taylor and not let him run around and catch people, but to go right at him, because they just feel like if there's any weakness in him, that might be it. So look for them to run outside behind the tight end's blocks.
Pick of a 4. Pepper Johnson is in at the linebacker spot for the Giants. Motion. Stump Mitchell trying to cut it back, and he gets only a couple. It'll be 3rd down. Here's the rest of the offense for the Cardinals. Lomax has been hot lately. He has Stump Mitchell and Earl Farrell in the backfield, Roy Green and J.T. Smith, the wide receivers, and a patchwork offensive line. Luis Sharp's the only one who's played all the way. Ray Brown, a rookie. Gene Chilton, a rookie. Lance Smith back at the guard. Tootie Robbins and Doug Marsh, the tight end. It is 3rd down. We've played almost 4 minutes. That was Carl Banks who got in for the sack. He has 6.5 this year. And for the Giants, their 50th sack of the year, and it's time for the Cardinals to punt.
Well, you see, they have them backed up. Now what they want to do is they're bringing both those linebackers from the right side, and you just don't have enough people to block everybody. Banks gets in and makes the tackle on Lomax. Now, he was sacked 7 times the last time the Cardinals and Giants played, and it's a tough way to start to put your team in a hole like that.
And Greg Cater will be punting with Phil McConkey. The Giants should have the ball in very good shape, but not too good a kick into the wind, and they let it bounce, and a bad bounce. And look where the Giants are. They're at the Cardinal 37-yard line. We played a little bit more than 4 minutes. There's no score, and the ball's at the Cardinal 37. They've won 7 in a row, but it hasn't been easy.
It certainly hasn't. You know, they've beaten the Redskins by 7. You see the Cowboys by 3. And if you look down the line, they've not really been blown out of a game. They haven't really dominated anybody either. So this is the type of football team that is building character as they continue to win.
There was only a 23-yard punt. And the ball's at the Cardinal 37. The blitz is on. Morris slips and goes down and gets up and gains a few more yards. That was a clever little run by Joe Morris, and there are scores of other games. Morris got 5. Cleveland, trying to clinch it, leads at Cincinnati 7-0 first quarter. And New England at home leads the 49ers 7-0, and New England could assure themselves of at least a wild card with a victory. And the Eagles are playing tough at Dallas in the first quarter, no score, and Atlanta still hanging on their scoreless in the first quarter. This is 2nd down and a long 5 for New York. That noise out there, isn't it? He just did beat the 30-second clock. And it's batted down by Al Baker, and it's incomplete.
That time the St. Louis Cardinals started to blitz. You heard Phil Simms say red 78, which was an audible. Then he changed it back and he said, no, stay with it. It was that movement in the secondary by the entire Cardinal defense. There you see him. Now he'll go back. They've run everybody down the field in straight lines. Morris outside, McConkey down the middle. He just doesn't know where to go with the football. Excellent play by Al Baker to take away Carthon on the dump-out pass.
So it's still a long 5, and it's 3rd down. Dennis Thurman and Wayne Smith check in for the Cardinals, who are without Carl Carter today in their defensive backfield. The blitz is on, a full-fledged blitz, and they nail it. Racing up with Lonnie Young, the safety man, number 43. And one thing I admire about the Cardinals, Joe, and they blitz a lot, they go for the tackle. They don't try to knock anybody's head off. They go for the hit.
You're right. They're smart blitzers. They don't want to go in and just take somebody and hurt them. They want to just take them down and make sure they stop the play. Right from the right of your screen, there you see Leonard Young just take off. Now he gets a hold of Simms. He's not going to let him escape and make a completion. Worst thing you can have happen is have the right blitz on, have the quarterback get away, and try and let your guys cover people down the field one-on-one.
Lentena is punting again, and he gets another dandy off. Fair catch by Sikahama is called for. One thing I'm trying to figure out here, Joe, the Giants got the opening kickoff, and they're operating with the wind here in the first quarter. How did that happen?
Well, what happens is the wind is not that bad. If you look at this stadium, the flags are blowing one way, but the flags on the goalpost, which tells you what's going on the field, are basically still. So the decision for the wind is not that great a factor, and that's why I'm sure the Giants said, hey, look, we'll take the football. That's a very misleading picture because that's at the top of the stadium. And that's down on the field.
The ball's at the 14-yard line. Cardinals get it for the 2nd time. Roy Green went in motion, a toss to Mitchell. He got a block by Farrell, and a big hit was made by Lawrence Taylor. A 2-yard gain. Man, that guy's unbelievable.
Well, the thing is, you just cannot run away from Lawrence Taylor. I played in a ball game with him. I beat him on a bootleg. I went around him. 5 yards later, somebody hit me so hard from the back.
Who was it?
It was Lawrence Taylor, the same guy I'd run around. Roy Green's going to have to make the cutoff on Taylor, or else they're not just going to be able to run outside or inside. That's really his strength. He's a pursued type of linebacker, a pursuer and a passer. pass rusher.
With Gary Reason's out, we have Pepper Johnson in there. Second down and 8. The left tackle, Louis Sharp, probably is the one who drew the flag. You know the way they line up, Joe?
57 offense.
They call it against Sharp. Bob McElway's the referee. The way they line up, I don't know whether Lawrence Taylor's a linebacker or a defensive end.
No, he's a linebacker. You can tell that because he wears number 56.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to tell. But he's treated like a defensive lineman. Of course, he's got 19.5 sacks. Marshall has 11. So between the two of them, you're looking at over 30 sacks just from that right side of the defense. Of course, Louis Sharp's going to try and get up and get a little bit of an advantage.
Now we have Andy Hedden in there for the Giants defensively. 8:35 left in the first quarter. Second and long. That is not a safety. It's at the 1-yard line. The second sack. Harry Carson got it. I bet Lomax wishes now he had thrown it away in that one instant where he had the chance to do so. He lost 10 yards.
This is the second time this afternoon that Lomax has held on to the ball. There you see Marshall up to now throw it away. Get rid of it. Get rid of it somewhere. No matter how good the coverage is downfield, you see everybody's running. Marsh is being covered, Green's being covered. You still got to throw it in the direction of where your guy is and make sure you just don't take that big sack.
This is how the Giants have been winning their games, in the same fashion. It's 3rd and 23. Got to get out to the foot. And a home run ball, and Troy Johnson couldn't get there. I don't know if Lomax could have taken any more time, but now the Giants are going to get good field position once again. Elvis Patterson was covering Troy Johnson.
That's a long run from that end zone, I want to tell you, coming to the bench. And that, you know, you've got nowhere to go. You're sort of in a box. Now this becomes very tricky. Here comes Hedden. Lomax does the best thing he could do is take a shot deep and just get rid of the football.
Now the Cardinals need a good snap from center to get the ball to Greg Cater. Phil McConkey is deep. Are they going to come after him?
They should go after it.
They look like it. They're all coming. And pretty fair kick, but no coverage downfield. And McConkey dives to the 25-yard line. And the Giants are going to get another scoring opportunity. They'll have the ball for the 3rd time. We've played 7 minutes. .51 remaining in the quarter. The Giants in possession for the 3rd time. And one of these times they're going to get something done. They really pursued Morris, and Bubba Baker was the first one on his back. Look at that gang tackling by the Cardinals, Joe. And a little scuffle breaks out, and there goes a flag. This is not going to be a passive engagement.
No, it never has been a passive engagement. These two teams have built up sort of a dislike for one another as the season and as the games have gone on because the Cardinals have played the Giants so tough.
One of the heavyweights was Mark Bavaro, who was punching it out with Charlie Baker, the linebacker. Is there going to be a penalty?
I think it's going to be offsetting.
Necessary roughness, 89 offense, 52 defense, offsetting fouls, the down counts.
Bavaro and Charlie Baker fought to a draw. And the down counts, and it's 2nd down and about 8. Since 1963, although the Giants have the overall edge, it has been dead even, and the Cardinals have hurt the Giants along the way, and vice versa. 2nd down, 9 yards. Blitz is on again. And the pass is caught, and the tackle is made immediately. With that blitzing on, Lonnie Young had one-on-one coverage on Mark Bavaro, and he didn't miss him, did he?
No, and that time Phil Simms did the right thing. He read the blitz and got rid of the football to the man who's made 59 catches. That's his 60th catch this year. There you'll see the secondary. The linebackers come up the middle. And there goes Leonard Smith trying to fill the hole. That's just a nice throw. Phil Simms has really matured in the area of standing in and picking out blitzes. He defies people to come after him now.
Bill Parcells talking about Lonnie Young, called him underrated yesterday. He's the Cardinal free safety. It's third down, a long 4. Galbraith is in the lineup. Tony's out on a wing, catches the ball. And he's taken down for a big loss on the play, and Nico Noga was on his ankle.
The St. Louis Cardinals have got the Giants, and particularly Phil Simms, confused. That's the type of a pass you will run when you think they're going to be in man-to-man coverage, so the linebackers can pick one another.
There's a flag down and a holding call against the Cardinals.
They were in a zone coverage that time. They had the right defense to stop the play. But again, the mistakes that have continually hurt.
Defensive holding, middle linebacker, 5 yards, automatic first down.
It's a first down. This is so typical of what has happened to this 3-10-1 Cardinal team. I don't know whether they're talking about Noga or Junior, but one of them was caught for holding, and it's a first down at the 15.
You stop somebody from getting a first down, your defense does a great job, and then they make a mistake in the secondary to hurt the ball club. It's been the classic example that's happened to the Cardinals all year.
Bobby Johnson, Stacy Robinson, the wide receivers. Toss to Morris. He blasts the ball through there, and what a big run that was. Oh, he's strong for a little guy. Charlie Baker, Nico Noga made the tackle, and good blocking up front.
Well, if you're going to have, there you see right in the middle of your screen, if you're going to have a good running game, you need a good blocking tight end. Now watch Bavaro get locked up. You see him, he just positions the linebacker right out. Freddie Joe Nunn is just being ridden, and now with Joe Morris's quickness, who runs exceptionally well on AstroTurf, he cuts back up inside.
And Godfrey handled E.J. Jr. Second down and 2 at the 7. That's a first and goal by Joe Morris, tackled by Leonard Smith. Morris is a little package, as we all know, at 5'7", but he weighs 195, and he's gained more than 1,200 yards.
Well, you know, he missed training camp this year. He didn't really perform that well in the beginning of the year, and as usually happens, you get a little bit hurt. He's now starting to get into that groove. He had 181 yards against the Redskins, and he just continues to improve as the weeks go on. Very durable for a little guy.
This is what the punt exchange and the penalty has brought about. It's first and goal at the 3. Went in motion. Pass is batted down and almost intercepted by the linebacker, Freddie Joe Nunn.
There's a play-action pass intended for Mark Bavaro. If you talk to the Cardinals secondary people, they say that Simms is going to look for Bavaro first. They run a little
before
play
anybody
anybody else. You see Carthon out in the flat. You see Freddie Joe Nunn just staying right next to Bavaro now. That's not Freddie's strong point, is catching the ball, but that time he knocks it down, prevents the touchdown on the pass.
Lee Roussan is into the backfield at the tailback spot. Second and goal from the 3. Roussan's going to throw it. He's going to run it. And he is out of bounds before he got to the goal line. Roussan, the second-year man out of Colorado, is a big back at 222 pounds, and Freddie Joe Nunn and E.J. Jr. took care of him.
Well, that would have been the first pass he would have thrown. They tried a little pitch sweep. The I formation tells the Cardinals that it's basically a run formation. Now, what happens in good football teams like the Giants, they know that you're scouting them that way, and so they try and run the pass. That time, the Cardinals dropped back and covered it well. If they can stop the Giants from scoring here, it'll be a big shot in the arm for the Cardinals.
You're talking about a touchdown, right?
Yes.
It's third and goal from the 2, and Joe Morris, who has 10 rushing touchdowns, has 11. Brag about the offensive line of the Giants, and Chris Godfrey, the right guard, number 61, cleared the path.
Joe Morris scores his 11th touchdown running this year, his 12th overall, has 1,222 yards had coming into this ball game, and is the man that the Giants will build their running attack on.
Wasn't that penalty murder for the Cardinals?
It's happened every time. You make a big mistake and somebody else capitalizes on it. It's like missing an extra point.
Raul Alegre is perfect on extra points this year. They stopped the play. 4:39 left in the first quarter. You can tell from the pace of this one, they're going to mix it.
Encroachment, defense, foul will be assessed on the kickoff.
The referee has ears like I do. I'm wearing a headset.
You're in a headset.
Mine doesn't stick out like that. That's Bob McAway, who's a good friend, by the way. Trying to make, well, till now he has been. Allegre trying to make it 7-0. It's good. Well, on their third possession, the Giants moving on in with Morris blasting over behind Godfrey.
There you see Godfrey kick out E.J. Jr.
Evokes a quarterback's most dreaded nightmare. The Packers meet Lawrence Taylor and the Giants next Saturday on CBS Sports.
7 plays, 25 yards, helped out by a penalty. The Giants went in, kept the ball for 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Joe Morris, a 2-yard run. And the kickoff by Sean Lendetta, or excuse me, by Raul Allegre. And the deep men are by Sikahema and Eric Swanson. They're both good return men. Line drive kick. Pretty good bounce to Sikahema. He's out to the 25-yard line. December 15th, 1963. Let's look back as the Giants won the division. Yankee Stadium, Allie Sherman was the head coach, and Y.A. Tittle was the quarterback, and Del Schaffner got loose on this one. In New York, they still talk about this catch by Frank Gifford. A one-handed grab that set up a winning score. And Joe Morrison got the winning touchdown pass. Now the Cardinals are at their 25. Marsh in motion. Farrell to the left. And a good block by Marsh on Lawrence Taylor. And we have a gain by Farrell of 6 yards. Look at Cleveland trying to nail it down, leading at Cincinnati 7-3. San Francisco has tied New England in the first quarter. With a flag on that last play.
Defense.
Okay, 5-yard face mask foul, and that might give the Cardinals a first down. Randy Marsh did a very good job of hooking Lawrence Taylor.
Well, Doug Marsh comes across, like I mentioned before, if you're going to run against the Giants and you want to try and be halfway effective, you've got to run at Lawrence Taylor because he's such a great pursuer.
First down at the St. Louis 35. Green in motion, and a pass out here to J.T. Smith. Good block by Green and a 5-yard gain. And the tackle made by Harry Carson. Very good rhythm on that play by the Cardinals.
That's right. I think that's what they have to do. You know, run a little bit, throw a little quick stuff. You know, you can't stand back against the Giants and hope to try and move the football. You come up 3rd down and 17, 3rd down and 23, you're almost better off punting and just sitting back there. They're doing the right thing now. They're mixing up a little bit on 1st and 10.
There's Gene Stalling, 2nd and 5. To Mitchell. He only got a couple as he ran into Carson again. That's why they're so darn tough against the run. They've averaged giving up 77.2 rushing yards per game.
Number 1 in the NFL. Nobody runs against the Giants, and that's Bill Parcells' philosophy. He said, I want to be able to run the football, and I don't want to allow people to run the football against us. That is the way we're going to build our football team.
The Cardinal 42, 3rd and 3. 2:50 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Giants. Well, that's the 3rd sack of Neil Lomax. Crawling in there was Pepper Johnson, the rookie linebacker.
Right in the middle of your screen, you're going to see Pepper Johnson. He doesn't buy the fake to Farrell. He just runs right around Farrell. Nice move, goes down low on Lomax, and he's got to pull the ball down.
to throw when they're hanging on your ankles like that.
You just can't step anywhere. Neal did the right thing. Again, it was a third down sack, forced him to punt.
Cater has punted for 23 yards and 29 yards. McConkey waiting. This is a little bit better. The Giants got it back. McConkey fell on his own fumble. He has a bad right hand and a bandaged right hand. And the Giants get the ball for the 4th time. That was a 32-yard punt. The Green Bay Packers come to the Big Apple next Saturday. Final week of the regular season. It starts at 12 o'clock with the NFL today. And the game will still be meaningful as the Giants vie for the home field advantage. Important here today. It will be important next Saturday. Robinson goes to the right. O.J. Anderson is in the lineup. And he gets quite a few against his former mates. O.J. had a lot of fun here visiting with his teammates at the hotel over the weekend. He said it's going to be strange running against them. And Leonard Smith and the others said it's going to be strange tackling him. He said, we used to play brother-in-law during training camp. We never really hurt each other.
They're not playing brother-in-law out there this afternoon, I want to tell you that. They may not try and really hurt one another, but I guarantee they want to pop one another.
It is 2nd down and 4. Try it again. He slips a bit and is short of a 1st down. Across town, and let's pay the toll, cross the bridge, and visit with Brent.
All right, the toll is accepted, Mr. Buck, and here's an update on the Niners and the Patriots. Now, Joe Cribbs scored from 3 yards out, but New England came back and kicked a field goal, and the Patriots lead the 49ers 10-7, 1st quarter, back to Jack and Joe.
It's a fight for survival over there with New England leading the 49ers. It's 3rd down and 1 here. And O.J. Anderson stays in the lineup with a good blocker. Carthon, 3rd and a long 1 yard. And O.J. did not get it. It's 4th down. He was met by David Galloway. And the ball came loose. And a flag is down.
That flag came in from way out in the middle of nowhere. Everybody's going to wait to see what happens.
This will be a surprise. Christmas surprise.
Christmas surprise, right. Holding against St. Louis.
Boy, murder, isn't it? Every time they do something good, they do something bad.
That's the 2nd time on 3rd down that they've stopped the Giants, and the 2nd time that a penalty has allowed them to continue their
Illegal
drive.
use of the hands. Number 52 defense. Hands to the face.
Hands to the face against Charlie Baker. New Orleans leading Atlanta. Green Bay and Tampa Bay are scoreless. Buffalo ahead at Indianapolis.
You know, in all honesty, if a guy doesn't do it intentionally, and I mean, you know, you got a tight end coming off the ball from below you. If you bring your hands up to try and block him and ward him off, it's going to be hard not to hit him somewhere around the head. I mean, they got to be a little realistic.
40 seconds left in the 1st quarter. Roussan is in. 1st down pass. Home run ball. Robinson can't get it. He was being covered on the corner by Cedric Mack. Sims is a good long ball thrower, Joe.
That's his strength, I think, the long ball. There you see Robinson looking back. Now, Cedric Mack does the right thing. He heads for an angle to cut him off and looks back for the ball.
If he hadn't looked back,
it would have been interference.
It would have been interference.
That's a rule that they put in that says if the receiver and the defender are both looking back for the ball, there can be incidental contact. And as you see, there was incidental contact.
32 seconds left, 1st quarter, 7-0 Giants. Sims 2 out of 7, and he's been sacked a couple of times. He might be sacked here. The blitz is on, and the pass is dropped by Bavaro with Lonnie Young on the coverage.
The Cardinals are forcing the issue on defense. They're putting pressure on Sims, making him throw the ball quickly, and making tough catches.
We have some crowd reaction to an announcement by the PA man. I didn't hear what it was.
It doesn't take much for this crowd to react to anything. I've played a lot of games in this stadium, and one of the toughest places to be is on a visiting bench because the fans behind you are very close and they're very loud.
Tony Galbraith comes in on 3rd down. 3rd and 10 from midfield. 3 wide receivers. McConkey in motion. The blitz is on again. They pick it up. Long ball again and incomplete. Cedric Mack back there covering on Stacy Robinson, and the Giants will punt.
The Cardinal secondary and the Cardinal defense is continuing to confuse Phil Simms. And as well as the wide receivers. When the guy's supposed to run an up, he runs a post. When he's supposed to run zone stuff, they run man-to-man stuff. They are really confusing the Giant offense. They can't seem to figure out the Cardinal defense.
Sean Landeta is punting again. This is his third. He's kicked for 45 and 37. Sikahema awaits. Oates with the snap. Pretty good kick. Let it go by. Inside the 5 by the Giants. Downfield was Thomas Johnson to down the ball. Neil Lomax has been hot in his last few games. 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had been benched earlier in favor of Cliff Staley.
That's right. He's come back. You know, he said standing on the sidelines gave him a chance to look at the game a little bit differently. He wasn't out long enough to get too much of a change of perspective. But the thing is, he managed to heal a lot of the small injuries that were bothering him in the early part of the year.
He's got bad tootsies.
Terrible, ugly feet. Ugly feet.
10 seconds left in the first quarter. Well, they have sacked Lomax 3 times already.
That's the thing to do.
Drops it off short to Farrell, who's a good pass receiver for a fullback, and that'll mark the end of the first quarter. And a flag is down back upfield. Holding St. Louis.
Well, there they were. The Cardinals were going to go back. They kept both their backs in. They were going to try and go for one. That's the best place to do it.
Holding number 58.
There's a new kicker on the Cardinal team. Gene Stallings.
Still first down.
He is upset.
It's been that kind of a year for Gene Stallings. I mean,
it's driving him crazy.
It really is. I mean, it's not the kind of thing you can coach either. What happens out in between those white lines is what's up to do with the players. The coach can only get them ready.
Well, a holding call has the Cardinals back at their 2.5-yard line. When we start the second quarter, it's 7-0 Giants.
Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Subaru and the Subaru XT, the Sport Magazine Super Bowl MVP Award. And by Minolta, creator of the incredible Maxim Autofocus SLR system, only from the mind of Minolta.
And a look at the big town, and we're at Giant Stadium. Capacity crowd, 76,000. Temperatures in the high 20s. Joe Morris with the only score of the game, 2 yards, and the Cardinals have been sacked 3 times, and they're -7 total offense. Joe Theismann alongside. I'm Jack Buck, and it's second down. It's first down, 12.5.
Sure is.
Joe's shaking his head here.
I just, you know, as I look, I've been in that situation where you're backed up in your own end zone and you're staring at those 11 faces that really don't like you at all. I mean, and the thing is you want to get it to somebody and at least give them a chance. That time, the Giants dropped back into a zone and just said, throw it to somebody short and we'll knock the heck out of them, and they did.
Gary Reasons did just that. There was a score yesterday, and that clinched it for the Giants. Denver 31-30 over the Redskins at Denver. Second, 11. Drop it off short to Mitchell, and he did not get the first down. J.T. Smith was clearing out, and it is third down coming up, and Harry Carson made that tackle, and the Cardinals are being killed in the punting game and field position.
You know, we've had our conversations with Gene Stallings the last couple weeks, not just in this ball game, and he talks about field possession being very important. The Cardinals have had 4 possessions. They've started an average on their own 49. The Giants 4 possessions, an average on their own 49. Or excuse, backed up that far. You can't expect the team to go 80 yards every time they get the football.
And they better complete this third down pass. Pepper Johnson with the 4th sack of Lomax.
you see Neil Lomax get up. It looks like he might have been dinged just a little bit. Pepper Johnson comes right up the middle. Ray Brown just doesn't block anybody. Runs right by him. I mean, it's hard enough to throw when people are in the way of people, but if nobody blocks anybody, it's very difficult to operate.
And what usually follows a sack is a punt. Here's another by Cater. Kicking with the wind, it's a little better, and McConkey takes it from his 48. And runs out of bounds, shy of the 40. 13:15 left in the half, 7-0 Giants. Across the way is Bill Parcells. His wife Judy have 3 kids. He tells me I'm a plain old New Jersey kid. He said I like to fish and hang around diners and run a room in a boarding house.
You know what he loves to go fish, though, Chip?
Sharks.
Yeah, he goes after mako. I mean, he's not just a guy who goes out and fishes for guppies or anything. The man goes out after big-time sharks. That tells you the nature of the man.
And he's after the big-time Super Bowl. He said, I want to do it one time just to prove that I can do it. This is the first down at the Cardinal 41. Anderson is in there with Carthon. Look at the time. He overthrew everybody. Bill Parcells, the last couple of weeks, has seen his team defeat Washington. They fell way behind the 49ers and came back and won that. People talk about those being very important wins, but he talks about the 11th game of the year when they were trailing against Minnesota at the Metrodome, and they had 4th down and long. 4th and 17, and look what happened. This was at Minnesota earlier this year. Parcells says this was the most important play of the season. Now we're back to live action, and Carthon is tackled by Clasby, and he got some help, and it'll be 3rd down.
You know, the St. Louis Cardinal defense has played very, very well this first half. The thing that they have done is they've kept the Giants out of the end zone on their previous 4 possessions.
Joe, going back to that Minnesota game, it's tough to complete a pass on 4th and 17.
Oh, it sure is. And when and that gave them the opportunity to go on and win that football game. The Giants are a team that has never quit, and what's scary is they're real young. All over, they're real young.
They're down an 8 here. Tony Galbraith in the lineup. Keeping his hands warm in his jacket. Rolls to get away from the pressure, and incomplete. It went through the hands of Bobby Johnson, who, by the way, is from St. Louis. He went to Kansas. And it's 4th down, and this Cardinal defense is holding 4th unless the penalties get him again.
That's right. That's the first time, I think, in the last 3 drives that a penalty hasn't helped the Giants get a first down. There you saw Lonnie Young walking over to congratulate Bobby Johnson for missing that one.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Once again, the Cardinals might be pinned back in their territory. Sikahema waiting for this punt from Lindhead. No pressure. He just pushes the ball. Sikahema lets it go, and it's into the end zone. What a bad break for the Giant punter. And it bounced the other way, would have gone out on the 1-yard line. 12:10 left in the half. 7-0 Giants. Nice day in New York. The Cardinals go from their 20. We see the Giants have clinched, the Bears have clinched, the Rams lead the West, but they haven't clinched it yet. And the rest of the contenders, Washington will be a wild card home team. 49ers, Minnesota, Dallas still alive, and Atlanta hanging on. It'll take an incredible combination to get them in. First down. Lomax. Green in motion. Hard to turn the corner and run against the Giants, and Perry Williams up from the corner ran him out. What is that motion doing to the Giants, if anything, Joe?
Well, the motion's not doing anything to the Giants. What they're trying to do with the motion, either with Roy Green or with Doug Marsh, is put somebody in front of Lawrence Taylor so that he cannot pursue freely and run the ball carrier down from behind.
Cardinal tight end Marsh, number 80, at whom you're looking, has caught only 21 passes this year.
3 in the last 6 football games.
Look at Cleveland widening their lead 14-3, and New England hanging on by 3 in the second quarter. 2nd and 7 here. behind and high to Roy Green. Green wanted to anchor there in the middle. Over here in New York, more so than in St. Louis and other cities, there's talk about Roy Green and the possibility that he'll be traded at the end of the year, but I hadn't heard anything about that.
I hadn't either, and I would find it very unlikely. He's one of their most valuable offensive players. He's been hurt a lot this year, and there's been a lot said about making assessments of his injury, but still, he's the type of a player, been to a lot of Pro Bowls. You have to have him on your ball club.
Phil Simms asked me if he was going to be traded. That is, if Green was going to be traded. I asked Roy about it. He said he didn't know anything about it. Troy Johnson, the third wide receiver. Greg Lasker is in there defensively for the Giants. Look out, somebody broke loose. And Lomax got a first down before he went out of bounds. He can run when he wants to.
Or when he has to.
Or when he has to.
And that time he had to.
So another first down for the Cardinals, and that is their second of the day. First 4 times the Cardinals had the ball today. Look what happened. Punt, 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 punt. Now they get a first down. They have the ball at their 31. Who said you can't run against the Giants? Lomax just ran for
That's
7.
right. The only problem is if it's the quarterback running, you're in trouble.
Caught it and got a few, and a strong tackle was made by Elvis Patterson. Patterson has reclaimed the job on the corner, number 34. The rookie Mark Collins had been there. We have an injured player. That was a 6-yard gain. Patterson, who made the hit, is down, so we'll get Mark Collins, the rookie, back in there.
Mark Collins playing with a bad hand. He broke a bunch of bones in his hand, and he's still got a cast on it, but you know, Parcells didn't necessarily want to play Collins, wants to give him a chance to another week of rest, heal a little bit.
Here's something that happens to you. We'll watch the end of the play. You're in the playoffs, and in the Giants' case, they've clinched the division. And then you get players injured, and you wonder when you're going to get them back.
Well, there you see Stump Mitchell straight arming him, and you see Patterson's head hit the ground. Now, it could be a matter of his fingers sort of getting right up underneath that face mask and going in. He jogged off the field, so hopefully it's nothing serious.
And Collins comes in, even though he has a broken hand. Number 25, he's a rookie from Cal State Fullerton. And that was a 6-yard gain by Mitchell on the pass play.
You know, as a quarterback, when you see a defensive secondary man come in, you want to try and work on it.
Mitchell couldn't plow out of it, and it's 3rd down. Now, in place of Terry Kennard, who's had a knee operation, Herb Welch out of UCLA is playing the free safety spot.
You know, and he is a good football player, but the thing about the Giants is all their secondary people are good. Welch is in his 2nd year, Williams in his 3rd, but he's not a Terry Kennard. Terry Kennard keys the quarterback and controls all that secondary movement, so they lose a little bit there when it comes to control of the defense.
Good news for the Giants. Elvis Patterson is back in there. 3rd down and a long yard, and a first down run by Earl Farrell. Boy, it's nice to see the fullback in that classic style put the ball away with both hands.
And he's a good fullback. You know, he likes to run. He likes to catch the football. Of course, the Cardinals like to run him on the football, but he's the kind of guy who just loves to be involved in the game, whether it's blocking for Stump Mitchell or carrying the ball up the middle. He realizes that he's going to have to continue to pound and pound and pound.
Out to the 47, there's Patterson, who returned very quickly. 10.5 left in the half, 7-0 Giants. Let's tune in on Neil Lomax. The ball, and the Cardinals have it for a further gain to the 32.
Heads up play by J.T. Smith.
He recovered the fumble by Roy Green.
Here it is, a quick set. Lomax going to set 1, 2, 3 and fire. Green right there makes a nice catch. Now he says, oh geez, I'm open. Head down the field, ball comes down. There's J.T. Smith right on top of it. Great hustle. The Cardinals just have not gotten enough breaks like that for him.
That's right. 2 weeks ago, the ball would have been recovered by the Giants. Maybe the Cardinals' luck is changing. And they move the sideline marker, and the official calls a timeout with 9:54 remaining in the half. That was a 16-yard pickup with a pass, fumble, and recovery.
Kenny Hill going off.
So we do have an official timeout on the field.
Premier teams, the Fighting Illini of Illinois, take on the North Carolina Tar Heels next Saturday on CBS Sports.
We're at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and we have 9:48 left in the half. That's the way Joe Theismann talks. He's from Jersey.
That's right. I'm from Jersey, not Jersey. I'm just down the road a little bit in South River.
There's another New Jerseyite, the head coach, Bill Parcells. I think I mentioned his wife's name is Judy. They have 3 daughters. He's happy about winning the division, but he's not happy about the way this game is going. First down for the Cardinals at the Giant 32. Fake draw. Good catch by Farrell. It's another first down to the 20. That Farrell can really help you out. And Lomax did a little dancing, and that helped him.
Well, he's shaking his head there saying, my goodness, what's going on? That time he did an excellent job avoiding the rush. You'll see Lawrence Taylor putting the pressure on. He fakes to Farrell. Now from the right side of your screen, there's Taylor again. Lomax does a fine job. Farrell makes a nice catch. Get upfield and get the first down.
And on that play, Greg Lasker had been in there for Kenny Hill, and now Hill is back in there at the strong safety spot for New York. First down at the 19. Pretty good drive by the Cardinals. Screen pass over the middle to Farrell. And he got about 4 or 5 yards on that one before Carl Banks tackled him. A 6-yard gain. Let's check some scores of other games. Dallas has to win to stay alive. McFadden 2 field goals for the Eagles. Green Bay and Tampa Bay slugging it out. No score. Cleveland trying to nail down their division, winning 14-3 at Cincinnati in the second quarter. And Buffalo ahead 7-0 at Indianapolis. New Orleans try to eliminate Atlanta. Second down and 5. Mitchell. I was looking for a stump to cut it back a little more quickly. Elvis Patterson tackled him, and it'll be third down. He lost 3. Patterson can force the run on the corner.
Right just down the bottom of your screen, you'll see the toss by Lomax outside to Mitchell. Now he comes up and forces everything back into him, stays on his feet, continues to hold that corner. You just can't let that running back circle the defense on you to try and get upfield. Did an excellent job making that play.
Ball's at the New York 17. 3 wide receivers for the Cardinals. Troy Johnson to the right. Greg Lasker is the 5th defensive back. It's 3rd and 7. Airs it out, and Johnson is out of bounds. One thing Johnson did, he pushed off, and that allowed him to get loose, but he caught the ball and stepped out of bounds with Patterson covering.
Incidental contact.
He pushed off, Joe.
Well, it's incidental contact. When both of them are going for the ball, that time he gets the 1 foot down and the other one just comes in out of bounds. You see right at the right of your screen. There you go. See that left foot's going to come down. Right. There's one in. Left's out. Got to have both of them in this game.
Right's in and left is out. It is.
Troy Johnson is somebody the Cardinals are very high on. He has the best speed of all their wide receivers. He's had 14 catches so far, and he's really developing.
This will be Mike Ruther snapping, Austin holding, Kent Austin, and Eric Schubert, the former Giant kicker. He was a big hero here at one time, trying the field goal.
Replay official, the incompletion is confirmed. Play stand.
Incomplete, 4th down, and this is going to be a field goal try of 35 yards by Schubert.
I talked to Schubert about coming back to Giant Stadium. He says, they booed me when I was a Giant. I would expect them to boo me when I'm a Cardinal.
Well, he'd love to make him put the Cardinals on the board. He thumped it pretty well, and it is no good. No good. So now Schubert is 8 out of 14. I'd like to buy Christmas presents for all these people. These are the kickers these two teams have had in the last 2 years. O'Donohue, Atkinson, Bojovic, Lee, and Schubert. Some of the names are repeats. Haji Sheik, Atkinson, Schubert, and Cooper, and Thomas. And now the Giants have solved their problem with Allegre. And they're at their 20. With Morris, Carthon. Uh-oh, is it going to go 80 yards? Cedric Mack could catch him. And he is taken down inside the 30. I know Washington ran him down, but they marked the ball at the Cardinal 26, and the fans love it, a 54-yard run.
Well, there you see, it's the old Green Bay sweep, for lack of a better description. They string out that defense and let a little Joe Morris cut up inside. Talking to the Giant players the other day, they said he runs so much better on AstroTurf than he does on grass.
Bobby Johnson, the wide receiver, made a good block for him. Down to the 26-yard line. Turning upfield is Roussan, and he goes 5 yards. And while we have an opportunity, how's that 49er game coming along, Brent Musburger?
Well, Jack, the Niners have gone ahead. Roger Craig, who's having a big day, goes in. But the Niners botched up the snap on the extra point. It fails. They're up by 3. That'll come back to Hanum, won't it? Let's go back to Jack.
Yeah, those missed kicks really hurt. You know, the Giants took over on the 20 after the miss by Schubert. Morris got the big run. Carthon spins and drives. First down to the 15, and the ball came loose. But it's whistled dead at the 15. We want to go back and have another look at that run of 54 by Joe Morris.
There's Bart Oates right in the middle of your screen. Phil Simms going to take the snap. Now watch what he does to Galloway. Just takes him and buries him. Hard, and there goes Joe. Whoosh. Just hear the wind go by as he cuts up.
Morris Express, and now a couple of runs by Roussan and Carthon. They're down to the 16, first down. Morris again. And he ran into Nico Noga. And Noga finished him off, and they start punching there. There goes the flag. Big Al Baker is in it. Somebody, let's see if it's against St. Louis. Personal foul against St. Louis. I don't think so much. I don't think so much it was the takedown by Noga as much as the subsequent activity.
Well, I think it actually started before that. Brad Benson's blocking on Al Baker, and he just didn't like the way he was handled when he came up. As soon as the pile-up was over, he just put a hand in his face. If you just can't do it out in front of the referees and for the whole world to see.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, 60 defense, half the distance, automatic first down.
That's one of those penalties that just hurts you. There you see, he'll throw the fist right in the face. The officials see that, and he throws another one trying to get through. You know, you just can't punch a guy. You got to try and poke him in the eye, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but they do it anyway.
Ball's at the 7, first and goal. Got about 4 before Lonnie Young came up and tackled him. 4:20 left in the half, clock running. Bill Parcells watching his team trying to go out in front 14-0.
Maurice Carthon on that play cut down Leonard Smith, which allowed Joe Morris to turn the corner. Now this is the one thing the Cardinals did not want the Giants to do, and that's run outside.
Ball is marked down at the 3-yard line. Comes off the field, and the crowd booed him. That was the racket. 3:45 left in the half. Second and goal from the 3. Second touchdown run of the day for Morris. 2 yards, 3 yards, and 12 rushing touchdowns. Bill Parcells has to like this, Joe, because his running game has not been that good on a consistent basis.
No, it hasn't. You're right. And going against the Cardinal Ball Club, which is ranked 24th in the National Football League against the rush, he felt like it was a good day to try and get his running game back. As I mentioned, he's going to need it in this kind of climate.
Well, let's see if Allegre has been affected or infected by all of this bad kicking that's been going on. Rutledge holding. He made it. Well, Giants score in the first quarter. They have one here in the second quarter, 14-0.
Right in the circle and right behind the goal post is Chris Godfrey, who's going to make a key block for Joe Morris on this touchdown run. Right on E.J. Jr. Just kicks him out. Little Joe scoots in.
We've talked about Godfrey frequently today. Last week it was Benson who was the big hero, and there's Godfrey. Here's the kick to Sikahema from the 7. He slips down at about the 21-yard line. 3.5 left in the half, 14-0 Giants. Next Saturday, special edition of the NFL Today, followed by the Green Bay Packers coming here to the Meadowlands to meet Taylor and Sims and Godfrey and the other Giants, the champions of the NFC East. And after that, collegiate basketball with Illinois number 6 against North Carolina number 5. It's an early season date for two ranked teams. Be great to see Doug Altenberger coming back after a bad knee for the Fighting Illini. Ball is at the 21. Next scoring drive, 6 plays. They kept it for 3.5 minutes. Down by 2 touchdowns. And Stump goes out of bounds at the 25. He got 4, and he was looking at Carl Banks when he stepped over the sideline.
Looks like a very similar philosophy the Giants will use, and that's that basic zone defense. Let Lawrence Taylor get into the pass rush, play a zone defense, and force the quarterback to dump it off to the backs. The same thing they did against the Washington Redskins in their last football game.
Can you throw deep against the Giants?
On occasion, very seldom though. You have to pick your spots, maybe once or twice.
You got to try it, right?
Yep.
Here's J.T. Smith coming back and catching the ball. He held on. It's very close to a first down after the hit by Elvis Patterson. J.T. Smith has been a prolific receiver. There's Bill Parcells sitting on a 14-0 lead.
Right in the middle, you'll see Herb Welsh is the safety man, the deepest of the deep. And he's just going to make sure that nobody gets behind him. You see him get back to the middle of the field, and you see all those linebackers down underneath. They say, look, go ahead, throw the 5, 6, 7-yard pass. That's the reason why you can't throw deep.
Gene Stallings, his club hampered by penalties today. He's trailing 14-0. First down at the 31.
His head on the hard turf. You'll see right at the bottom of your screen is Pepper Johnson. He's coming in to meet Farrell. Now Lomax steps up in, and Sally's going to chase him, grab him by the arm and swing him around, and waiting for him on the other side is Pepper Johnson.
Another bad combination. The ball's back at the 27. 3 minutes left in the half.
You know, you get that big pass rush, and you get that zone stop, drop back deep. When you can't put your backs out into the pattern, it's hard to complete passes downfield.
But he was still looking to throw the pass instead of taking off with the run.
He's not a runner. Doesn't want to be either.
That time they brought more than 4, and Lawrence Taylor and Jerome Sally got in there.
This is the problem that Neil Lomax faces. You'll see the ball is snapped. He's just got nowhere to go with the football. The Giants are playing man-to-man underneath with help backed up, and there's just nowhere to go. Everybody is covered. He has no time and no place to go with the football other than down and to eat it.
Now if the Giants can stop the Cardinals on 3rd down, they should be in great shape again with 2:25 left in the half. It is 3rd down and 23. 7th sack. Lawrence Taylor was way out of the play, came back and got it.
You cannot bring any harm or accuse the offensive line of that one. They only had 2 defensive linemen. Just to the middle of your screen, there were 2 defensive linemen and Lawrence Taylor. Of course, that's like 5 people rushing. But look at all those people back in coverage for 3 receivers. Lomax has nowhere to go with the football. That time he should have unloaded the football. Lawrence Taylor just pushed him, get out of here. You're going down.
He's been sacked 8 times, and this is the 5th punt by the Cardinals.
4 of those sacks, he should have gotten rid of the football. You just can't hold the football against this type of a defense.
This is the sort of play that got Lomax benched previously this season.
I don't know. I don't quite understand what's happening to him. When he came back, he started to make quick decisions and throw the ball away. That's one thing a quarterback has to be willing to do. Don't worry about your passing percentage. Make decisions and get rid of the football.
2 minutes left in the half. The Cardinals will be punting when we come back. Taylor and others leading the way has the crowd roaring. They've won their division. And they're winning here 14-0 with 2 minutes left in the half. And these fans just want to let off some steam. Steam on a day like this, but here's Cater punting. DiBernardo snapped the ball, and McConkey is back at the 50. And all of this answers the question, why do you want the home field advantage? This is why.
Correct.
Pretty good. Nice kick by Cater. McConkey fair catch. And it's not easy to catch the ball in this stadium. The ball's back at the 47 for the Giants, who have 1:53 to add to their 14-0 lead. That was a 45-yard kick. Dick Vermeil, former outstanding coach and great broadcaster now, is in the studio with Brent and Irv. Scores and highlights. Musical QBs in Chi-Town.
Who will wind up quarterbacking the Chicago Bears the remainder of the season and on in? My guess is they're going to go with Doug Flutie.
You know, you're just seeing the name of the city of Chicago. Who wants to go there and try to win a championship?
Who wants to go there in January?
That's why the Giants want this home field advantage. Carthon and Morris. He makes you miss, doesn't he? And he gained 8 before Young finally stopped him.
There's 2 Joe Morrises, the one that plays on AstroTurf and the one that plays on grass. And all you have to do is look at the rushing yardage of the New York Giants when the team plays on grass like they did in Washington and in San Francisco, and when they get home here or play on the turf. He's an entirely different back on AstroTurf, a better one.
A lot of players complain about the turf. He likes it. In fact, he sleeps on it. Ball's at the St. Louis 45. Is really wrestled down by Freddie Joe Nunn. Now, Nunn is in his 2nd year. He's a #1 draft pick out of Mississippi. The Giants have called timeout, and he's been a disappointing high draft. Well, Y.A. Tittle is a name that all Giant fans remember, and we talked it over with him.
Well, it has been a long time. I didn't know it was 23 years. Obviously, when the Giants win the title this weekend, I think they will. I'm going to be very proud. It has been a long struggle, and I don't know why it took so long, but the Giants have a great football team this year, and there's a good chance they can go all the way. The team is more mature. The offensive line last year was young, and they were good. This year they are a little older, not too old, but they're better. I think Phil Simms has matured again also. Seems like last year he made more mistakes at crucial times than he has made this year, and I think that's helped his team a lot. And of course the continuance of the good running of the running backs this year has really helped his passing game, where he didn't have to throw so much. So
And all quarterbacks, all old quarterbacks would tell you it's nice when you don't have to throw.
Be nice when you talk about old quarterbacks.
Third down. Excuse me. It is third down. Third down and 4. That was a Giant timeout. Here's a first down to Bavaro. First and goal. I kind of think Bavaro is going to spend a little time in Honolulu in January.
He should. Just to the right of your screen, you see him block Bob Glaspie. Leonard Smith was supposed to cover him, and Bavaro just gets down the middle of the field. Had a great day. Got on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Beat the Washington, really helped beat the Washington Redskins last week. Had a big day. First 3 catches in the game were to the tight end.
And he could go over 1,000 yards in receiving if Sims, at whom you're looking, can continue to get the ball to him. First and goal at the 9, and 58 seconds left in the half. Bavaro's had a tough year. He had a broken jaw, and he was playing with his jaw wired. And he's had other injuries. Cleveland's still leading 14-3 second quarter at Cincinnati, and the Giants, excuse me, not the Giants, the 49ers leading at New England by 6 in the second quarter.
You know, as quiet as Bavaro was, I don't think his teammates knew his jaw was wired for 2 or 3 weeks.
He doesn't say much.
Doesn't say much at all, but boy, he lets his performance on a field speak for him.
Not only all those passes he has caught, but he's a good run blocker.
He's a complete tight end. You know, you talk to Bill Parcells, you say, what do you need in a tight end? You need him to be an effective blocker and a guy who runs precise routes. Also can catch the football. And he can catch.
Cardinal before the game said we have to stop Morris, number 1, and Bavaro, number 2, and Sims, number 3. They've stopped Sims, but not the other 2 guys.
That's right.
58 seconds left in the half. Giants have 1 timeout left. Over the head of Stacy Robinson. Robinson has really helped out with Lionel Manuel absent from the Giant lineup.
And hopefully they expect to get Lionel Manuel back next week. He practiced a little bit latter part of last week, a little bit more this week. In talking to him yesterday, he said his knee is feeling much better, and he hopes to be back. He wants to. He gives him that speed and that experience at the wide receiver position.
And of course, there was without George Adams, Curtis McGriff, and others who are on the injured reserve list. Second down and goal from the 9. Slides down. Now the clock is going to run. They'll have ample time, but the Giants had better get with it because they have only 1 timeout remaining. They lead 14-0, and they are going to let the clock tick on down.
Well, in this situation, you've almost got to call a pass and let the quarterback make the decision for you. Try and put the ball in the end zone for the touchdown. If not, you throw the incompletion and come in and kick the field goal.
2 running touchdowns by Joe Morris. Galbraith is in there now. 3rd and goal from the 9. Cardinals are blitzing. Pass is incomplete. He tried to get it to McConkey in the end zone as he and Bobby Johnson were crossing. And it's 4th down. Bavaro was blocking on that play.
We talked about Bavaro's ability to be a pass catcher, but watch this. He jumps on inside to pick up Lonnie Young. Doesn't really do a great job, but at least broke his stride so he couldn't have a clean run at Phil Sims. And the crossing pattern was missed. Now they have to try for the field goal.
Allegre is 20 out of 28 and has solved the problem for the Giants in the kicking department. This year they've used Joe Cooper and Bob Thomas before Allegre got the call. Bart Oates is snapping. Rutledge is holding. At the 16, it's a 26-yard try. Good. It's 17-0, and a flag goes down.
Offsides against the Cardinals, declined by the Giants. Field goal should stand.
Our referee is Joe Theismann. Offside against the Cardinals, decline. The field goal stands, and it's 17-0 with 12 seconds left in the half. I imagine Parcells, Joe, if he can nail this game down early, will put in some additional people. He might get some playing time, perhaps, to Rutledge, their backup quarterback.
I don't think so.
Maybe not?
No, I don't think so. Coaches don't necessarily like to do that. They want to keep their #1 people out there as much as they can so that they can get comfortable. And Gene Stallings just is not happy. There's Rutledge on the sidelines.
Stallings is hot. He's yelling at the officials again. He's been bending their ear most of the afternoon. He is not a calm person. Well, next Sunday after Green Bay comes here and plays the Giants on Saturday, we have a doubleheader game. Washington against Philadelphia at Philadelphia, or Tampa Bay against St. Louis. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern Time.
Redskins are looking to get back on the winning track. They've lost 2 tough football games to the Giants and to the Broncos.
And after that, the Bears against Dallas, and that will be meaningful because both the Giants and the Bears will be vying for the home field advantage. Allegre will kick it off. Sikahema is deep. Swift kick. The ball is touched. The clock starts. Troy Johnson has it. It's tough to catch, but he can't get outside. 2 seconds left. One more snap of the ball, and the Giants will take a 17-0 lead into the dressing room. Speaking of the dressing room, the way the Cardinals are moving now, that is the direction, is the poor direction in which to be moving in this stadium. The best way is toward their backs. St. Louis will receive the second-half kickoff, by the way.
The other problem with the way they're moving is they've got to move 82 yards if they expect to get any kind of points in 2 seconds, which they won't.
The first time they met, they sacked Lomax 7 times, and they've already done that in the first half today. They'll just snap the ball, and it's 17-0 for the division champion Giants. These fans on a cold day love the action. 2 rushing touchdowns for Joe Morris, 2 yards, 3 yards, and a field goal of 26 yards by Allegre.
Do you think George Young has an enormous ego?
Well, I think general managers tend to get too much credit when a guy does a great job, like Bill Parcells has.
Oh, you know.
I want the coach to get the credit.
Coach
Coach of the year, Bill Parcells.
Well, there he is on the sideline. It helps to have a guy like Joe Morris, folks. I mean, what a weapon he's turned into. Remember when he was drafted, and a lot of people said it's too small, can't get the job done? He's just the right size.
Perfect size. Low center of gravity.
That's right. Tough to catch up with. 17-0, Giants with the lead there. Philadelphia, Dallas. Want to show you the prettiest run of the day and really perhaps the best of the season. Look who's drafting the Cowboys, folks. Vinny Testaverde. Says, I want to go down there and see if there's a way they'll trade for him. But here's Herschel Walker, Dick.
Herschel Walker starts a little off-tackle play to the left, changes his mind and his direction, breaks a few sloppy tackles. Now it's a foot race to the end zone, and Roy Neal Young is not going to catch him from behind.
You know, he does 500 sit-ups a day. I wonder if he did his sit-ups today.
Last night, watching television. Absolutely. Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Notice, please, the games that Vinny Testaverde is not at. And Packers lead the Bucks by 7 points. Cleveland, Cincinnati, big game here. 14-3 in the AFC Central. Bernie Kosar, 47 yards to Webster Slaughter. But the Brown defense has shut down all those weapons of the Bengals, at least so far. 14-0, Buffalo with the lead. They go into the second half of that game. Jim Kelly out. He is complaining of dizziness. New Orleans over Atlanta, and it is 7-0. The Saints leading the fading Falcons there at the half of that game. Now, here's the other big one. 49ers over the Patriots. It is 16-10 right now as we check in on a chilly day up there for Coach Walsh. And we can watch the Patriots off the play fake. Tony Eason to Greg Matty, 8-yard score. And Dick, they were ahead, and then Joe Cribbs and the Niners came back.
Nice little off-tackle play here. Really well designed. Very seldom do you see a running back run in from inside the 5-yard line standing up, Brent.
You know, a little bit later, it looked like an instant replay, these two plays.
Yeah, well, Joe Montana, the quarterback sneak there from inside the 1, doesn't make it. But they come right back again. Montana again over the top. This time he goes in with Roger Craig.
You know, Dick, we should point out they've missed an extra point. The 49ers now. Wersching's had kind of an erratic season for him. And I'll tell you, that can really affect the team in a game.
Oh, yeah.
The Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskins, but that was really not the kicker's fault. That was a bad snap. Remember, he didn't really even get a chance to kick the ball.
Okay, so we will not hold.
That's one time we can't blame the kicker.
We want to take a look at the Bear quarterback situation. We'll do that with Dick right after these messages from your local station.
17-0 in favor of the Giants. There's an ugly for you, huh?
Sometimes ugly can be beautiful.
The Giants' record, by the way, 8 sacks in a game, and they'll be going to tie or break that record. Joe will get a pretty good early indication about this Cardinal team. They've only won 3, but they really haven't quit in any of their games, and I'm wondering what's going to happen in the second half.
Well, I just think that Gene Stallings has had to tell his ball club at halftime, go out, relax, and just play, and don't worry about anything.
Allegre kicks to Eric Swanson, and he was hoping for a good bounce, but didn't get it either at the 10-yard line. Swanson thought the ball was going to bounce into the end zone, but it took a bad bounce as far as he was concerned. And the ball is at the 10, and that's been a problem for the Cardinals, starting very much in their own territory.
Well, what happens is you have to take a ball like that in the air. You just can't wait for it to bounce. I think he lost sight of where he was on the football field.
You used to run back those
I used
kicks.
to run back punts, not kickoffs. No, too many people get going too fast on kickoffs. You can really get banged that way. Punts, they don't get moving quite as fast.
Well, talking about moving fast, this Giant defense has been really coming after Neil Lomax. Same 3-man front with Jim Burt back in there. Now it's Eric Howard starting. And Mitchell had to struggle to get about 3. Here's what happened in the first half statistically. Look at there. You talk about being pounded and overwhelmed. That's what happened.
3 yards passing.
And Mitchell just got 3 yards on that run out to the 13. And the running back comparisons, one big run of 54 yards for Morris, and he's had 2 touchdowns, 2 yards, 3 yards. Second down, 7. Roy Green in motion. And it was Mitchell getting the first down. The ball was hanging precariously, but he latched on for a 10-yard run.
I don't know how he finds this ball. You'll see him. They run the similar sweep that the Giants run and let Stump Mitchell cut up behind the block. There you go. And there's a, whoa, hold it. There it is. Well, it isn't that the Cardinals aren't getting the ball to bounce in their direction. They're just running into a real good defensive unit.
Yeah, they've had a couple of good breaks today. One earlier on a Roy Green fumble that the Cardinals recovered.
The Cardinals have to find places in this game where they can build on. This drive is one they can build on. Now they've gotten a first down. They've got to continue.
Couldn't clear out, and Roy Green was trying to block for him, and he couldn't get much done. Perry Williams, how good is he at supporting the run on the corner?
He's very good. You know, none of their corners, Elvis Patterson and Perry Williams, they're not real as far as nifty backs go. You know, you can make moves on them, but when it comes to supporting the run and when it comes to straight line speed, both these guys are very talented.
No gain on that play. We lost about a half a yard. Buffalo leading at Indianapolis. Second down. Lawrence goes over to the left side. Here's a screen pass to Green, and what a good defensive play by Patterson. Joe Theismann was just talking about him and Perry Williams, the other corner. He read it, and he killed it.
Well, what happens there is the Giants are playing what is basically a double zone, and a double zone means that you're going to double cover the 2 outside receivers, put somebody up on their nose, and back them up with somebody. It's very difficult to run a screen pass when the cornerback knows he has help behind him. He just stays right in Green's pocket. As soon as the ball is thrown, bang, hit, loss.
3rd and 15. And on 3rd down, the Cardinals haven't been very good. Troy Johnson checks in for St. Louis. Lasker is in there defensively. A flag is down, and the left guard, Ray Brown, the rookie number 62, beat the snap count.
Still 3rd down.
You might wonder why the left guard is going to have that type of a movement. It's very simple. Number 56, instead of lining up on the outside of Marshall, Lawrence Taylor moves on the inside right over Ray Brown. Just his presence alone, just Lawrence Taylor's presence alone creates problems for offensive linemen.
He just created a 3rd and 20. J.T. Smith and Roy Green to the left, Johnson to the right. Greg Lasker is the 5th back for the Giants. 4-man rush, and he threw it away. He threw it away under the blitz of Lawrence Taylor. You know, you really can't call it a blitz because he lined up as part of a 4-man front. He just upright, and he takes off.
No, he's not a blitz. There you see him moved inside, just to the right of your screen, number 56. Ray Brown tries to block him, and that wasn't much of a block. And, you know, it takes 3 people to block him anyway. They bring Marshall around inside, and Taylor makes the play. After he knocked Neal down, he picked him up, which is the least he could do.
The 6th punt by Cater. He just got it away, and McConkey calls for a fair catch, and the Giants will go from their 43-yard line. That was only a 31-yard kick, and it was darn near blocked. Defensive line of the Giants is still intact. Brad Benson, Billy Ard, Bart Oates, Chris Godfrey, Carl Nelson. Last week, Benson, at whom you're looking, number 60, was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, the first time they've ever selected an interior lineman. Now today, Chris Godfrey, number 61, has been all over the place with some great run blocking. First down at the Cardinal 43. Johnson in motion, and a reverse to Johnson. It's wide open, folks. Coming up very strongly, and with a good tackle, is Lonnie Young, number 43. What happened there, Joe Theismann?
Well, first of all, see Phil Simms going to hand off. If you run the sweep to Joe Morris, he carries the ball most of the time. Look at the reaction of that St. Louis defense. You get him going in one direction. Now you come back with Bobby Johnson. Out here is Phil Simms going to lead. See, he's a quarterback. He's, wait, hold it. No, shucks. Gosh, he would have got the guy. You know, you turn around and you say, if you'd have just made that
Simms
one guy miss, one guy.
Yeah, I bet. 2nd down, 3. Morris stayed tight with his blockers and came very close to a first down.
That reverse served 2 purposes. Number 1, it let the Cardinals know that the Giants are willing to go back the other way, and they cannot continue to pursue as quickly towards Morris. Secondly, it makes them stay home so that the offensive lineman can block and take them head on.
It's a first down at the Cardinal 33, and there you see the Cardinals have been buried most of the afternoon. Their own 15, and the Giants at their own 47. We played the first 5 minutes of this 3rd quarter. Gene Stallings, the baseball cap. McConkey and Robinson, the wide receivers. Robinson. At the last moment, it was touched a bit by Cedric Mack and dropped by Stacy Robinson. I think Mack got a hand on him.
Well, if he didn't, he sure did distract him. Watch this offensive line block. Phil Simms not having a great day completion-wise. He's only completed 3, but you'll see no pressure. Now, everybody talks about why have the Cardinals not been able to get any interceptions? Simply because there's nobody putting any pressure on the quarterback, and if he's got time to throw, at least he's going to throw it away. There you saw a nice play by Cedric Mack.
With a late rush out of the linebacker spot by Freddie Joe Nunn, but he didn't get near Simms, and it's 2nd and 10. Hardbound in motion. And Simms, leading 17-0, is inclined to take his 2nd sack of the day, and this one by Al Baker, who had 9.5 before the day. And now we have a Cardinal player down.
Al Baker playing that right defensive end position, the top of your screen. There you see him up against Bill Ard. Goes out Benson. He just gets on the inside. Now Simms had plenty of time to make a decision, and Baker just trips him up.
And one of the best Cardinal players, David Galloway, is on the deck. The clock stopped, 9:37 left in the 3rd quarter. We haven't checked the AFC playoff picture. A big win by Denver yesterday, and they've clinched their division. Nobody else has clinched their division, but Cleveland's on their way today at Cincinnati, and New England's having a tussle with the 49ers. Those are the division leaders. Now the others who could get into the playoffs, the Jets, even though they've lost 4 in a row and still have the best record of any of the other contenders. And then Cincinnati and the Raiders, Seattle, and Kansas City. And A lot of those teams play later today, and so the playoff picture will become much clearer this evening. David Galloway is still down. You know, Joe, you and I were talking about Pro Bowlers in the NFC. We don't know that much about the AFC. We don't don't watch them play that often. See how Galloway...
Right in the middle of your screen, number 65, and I think what's going to happen is he gets himself just out of whack and gets pushed.
Hit that turf very hard.
4-0 blowout. But now the Cowboys have a shot at revenge. Chicago collides with Dallas next Sunday on CBS Sports.
David Galloway walked off cradling his left arm. We'll get a report. Mark Duda, who played at Maryland, is the new nose guard for the Cardinals. 3rd down and 19 for New York. Galbraith is in there. And a flag is down against the Giants. And the pass is no good. Out of bounds, and a penalty in addition. Bobby Johnson caught it, but flopped out of bounds before he could get his feet in. The receiver was illegally in motion.
He started to move and then stopped, reset himself, and then continued to go. So it's almost like a double clutch.
What should he have done?
Should have just stopped.
Illegal formation. Number 88 of the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's why the penalty is declined. It is 4th down. Bobby Johnson is the one who brought the flag.
Well, what happened is he was lined up in the backfield. By taking that step forward, he turned himself into the tight end position, and the outside receiver had him covered, and you can't have that guy covered.
This will be the 5th punt by Lendetta. And Sikahema waits at his 10. So even though the Cardinals trail 17-0, they've made the Giants punt 5 times. Whoa! There goes the flag. And there goes Sikahema down inside the 15. Running into the kicker.
Yeah, that's not running into the kicker.
I didn't think so either.
I don't understand this. I really don't. I don't.
I half thought that the kicker went into him as much as anything.
What happens is the guy tries to go in, he puts his arm up in the air, and he's being blocked, and he tries to hold his balance. You'll see right there, right up the middle, he puts his hands up. Now, he doesn't try. He falls down.
Running into the kicker.
It's Broderick Sargent. Running into the kicker, 5 yards and a 1st down. Broderick Sargent.
There you see, he hangs his foot up in the air. Broderick Sargent just bumps into him. I think that if the league is going to have meetings, they ought to have meetings and take a look at that penalty. They've got to be more stringent with what is constituting roughing the kicker.
So the Giants continue the drive. They're at the Cardinal 37 with Carthon and Morris, and a give to the fullback. Carthon, known more for his blocking, carried the ball for about 7 yards. Let's check that New England game with Brent Musburger.
Well, Jack, that botched extra point still may haunt the 49ers. New England goes ahead. Tony Collins, they convert, and they're up by 1, 17-16 over the Niners. Let's go back to Jack.
And here's our score, 17-0. 2nd down and 4. And Morris makes it 3rd and 1 with that run. Spun down by Leonard Smith. Let's check Cincinnati. How are they doing? Cleveland widening their lead, and a victory would clinch the division for Cleveland. And Dallas staying alive by a point in the 3rd quarter at home against Philadelphia, and Atlanta going down. If they lose, they are out, and Green Bay is ahead at Tampa Bay.
I'm going to give myself a chance to get ahead here a little bit.
Buffalo leads in Indianapolis, and as they measure, we see that David Galloway is back in the Cardinal.
I have not been right all year. I think they made it. By golly, I got it.
Morris runs for a 1st down to the Cardinal 26. We showed you that Indianapolis score, and they're trailing at home against Buffalo, and that's an important score because of the Testaverde sweepstakes with $1 million added. They have the worst record, and they might get the best quarterback in college football. 1st and 10. Bobby Johnson in motion. The blitz is on, and Carthon is taken down now by numerous Cardinals, led by Anthony Bell. Now, Bell was the #1 pick this year out of Michigan State, and he didn't turn out too good.
Well, yeah, I don't agree with you on that. It isn't a question of him not turning out too good. There's an awful lot to learn at the linebacker position. If you want to compare positions, the quarterback position on offense and the linebacker position on defense are two of the most difficult to learn. He's very gifted. He's very talented. He's playing on the outside left linebacker position behind Freddie Joe Nunn, and it's just going to take a little while for him to get more comfortable.
Here is the 2nd down and 10. Callaway is playing for the Cardinals. Got a noise down there. 3-man rush, sideline pattern, and what a magnificent, he's out of bounds, incomplete. Incomplete is the call. Lionel Washington thought he had an interception, but he put it away while out of bounds. And speaking of interceptions, the Cardinals this year have had only 8.
That's exactly right. Lionel Washington had 2 of them. There's Sims again getting great protection. Now he tries to make the throw. Lionel Washington, what a great effort. It's a great effort. Now watch, the right foot just does, oh, he caught him. He tried to sneak it back in. Look at him go up in the air.
Good job by the officials all day long here at Giants Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Sims is only 3 out of 17. And still his club leads 17-0.
That's what happens when you play great defense. You just don't have to put the ball in the air. They wanted to work on their running game. I'm sure Sims wanted a few more passes completed as well.
3rd wide receiver is McConkey, and it's 3rd and 10. McConkey goes in motion. First down for Sims. He ran into Lonnie Young. That was a 14-yard scamper. This late in the year, I'm sure the Giants hold their collective breaths whenever Sims starts to run.
You see Bill Parcells peeking to make sure Phil Sims gets up. It's not the nicest thing for a coach to see his quarterback take off. And Phil Sims was maligned a lot earlier in the year. They booed him. He got one of the loudest ovations during introduction here today. And he's starting to play the kind of football that the Giants are going to need from the quarterback position to propel him on into the playoffs.
This is the 2nd time today that a penalty has sustained a New York drive. And it's a 1st down at the Cardinal 12. Bobby Johnson is in there and to the left side. Stacy Robinson, run by Morris. Tried to slam it up the middle. He was slowed down and knocked down. E.J. Jr. was there, number 54. Thus far in this game, Morris, 2 touchdowns, 2 yards, 3 yards, both rushing. Cardinals in total only 45 yards, and the quarterback, Lomax, has been sacked 7 times. Only 1 less than the Giant record. 2nd and 10. Is in there, the blitz is on, and the blitz pays off against the run.
Well, it's been the only way that the Cardinals have been able to stop the Giant running game. What it means is that if the Giants want to take advantage of this, Sims is going to have to start completing passes, and they're going to try and put the ball up in the air. They're not going to be able to run the ball effectively against linebackers that keep shooting inside.
They fill those gaps, and it's 3rd down. Tony Galbraith checks in. Bill Parcells trying to add to his 17-0 lead. 3rd down. Bavaro is off on a wing. Now Bavaro's in the pass pattern, and the pass is it caught? Yes, it is, and it's 1st and goal on a diving catch by Phil McConkey. McConkey ended up right back in the right spot. Now it is 4th down. It's not enough for a 1st down. Evidently, he did catch it cleanly. McConkey went to Green Bay. We've been put on waivers, and then the Giants said we made a mistake, and they got him back.
That's right. Talking to Phil McConkey, he said, you know, it shows a lot of character and a lot of guts by the Giants to say, we made a mistake, they not only wanted him back, they traded for him to get him back for that experience.
Rutledge will hold. At the 13, it's a 23-yard try by Allegre. He's 1 for 1 today. Oates will snap the ball. And this will make it 20-0 if it goes through. That's good. 20-0 with 3.5 left in the third quarter.
The nation's premier teams, the Fighting Illini of Illinois, take on the North Carolina Tar Heels next Saturday on CBS Sports.
And before that basketball game, North Carolina and Illinois, it'll be a short work week for the Giants. They entertain Green Bay here next Saturday. Starts at 12 o'clock with the NFL Today, Eastern Time. Then the 12:30 kickoff here at Giant Stadium. Allegre booting the ball to the Cardinals. Sikahema and Swanson are deep. From the goal line, Swanson. He stumbles and goes down across the 20-yard line. Downfield covering was Lee Roussin. Playing on the home field has been a big advantage for all of those teams in the last 5 years, Joe.
I've had the opportunity of playing 2 Super Bowls, and we did win the NFC division title and happened to play at home. But when you've got a stadium like the Redskins have in Washington or like the Giants have here in New Jersey, when you come out on the football field and you get those fans going behind you, the noise itself creates problems for the offensive team and gives you an advantage.
And if the Giants and the Bears end up tied with their record, the Giants get the home field because of a better conference record. Here's a delay to Farrell. And a worthwhile run across the 25 before Andy Hedden brought him down, number 54. These Giants have some linebackers who are reserve linebackers who'd be starters on a lot of other teams. Talking about Andy Hedden, Byron Hunt, Pepper Johnson. They are stacked at that position.
Talk about Byron Hunt. I have 2 false front teeth, compliments of Byron Hunt.
Oh, yes?
He came on a free blitz back in 1982 and redid my 2 uppers.
NFL insurance pay for that?
Yeah.
Good. 7-yard pickup by Farrell. Mitchell got to the 30, and it's 3rd and 1 coming up as he got away from Lawrence Taylor. We ought to save that piece of tape because that doesn't happen very often.
Not only does that happen very often, watch what happens at the end of this play. You see Taylor at the top of the screen. They try and run a pitch, and Taylor just cuts him back. Now he's going to run right into Lawrence. Boom! Lance Smith on the tackle.
Yeah.
Knocks Stump right back into the backfield.
It is 3rd down and about a foot. We'll see how good the Giant defense is here.
Look at those 2 hits.
Smith and Mitchell head to head. Ron Wolfley is in there for the Cardinals. Wolfley off the bench, lost yards. That's how good they are. I thought that was going to be a fake as the ball was given to Farrell, and Wolfley was blocking for him. And they failed to make it, and it's 4th down. The Giants are just tough to run against.
If you can't run, and Denver's second, if you can't run against somebody, you're going to have a heck of a tough time throwing the football. The running part of the football game and good defense are the 2 keys that get you into the playoffs and give you a chance at Super Bowls.
Here's the 7th punt by Cater, and the wind stops it. It gets a giant bounce and is down by the Cardinals. And we have 1:19 left in the 3rd quarter. That was a 22-yard kick. Well, 2 NFL teams are going to boogie out to Pasadena in the Rose Bowl for the January 25th game, and these Giants, of course, might very well be there. CBS is going to cover the playoffs, and also CBS has the Super Bowl this year, and so you'll hear Pat Summerall and John Madden and Irv Cross and the whole gang from out there.
Brings back wonderful memories for me. That's the Super Bowl 17 that the Washington Redskins won.
That's a lovely ring you're wearing. The ball is at the Giant 48. Carthon and Morris, they're playing everybody all the way. Morris has 2 touchdowns. And he got 5 or 6. He's not hurting his rushing average. Bob Clasby, an interesting kid, number 79, made that tackle. Clasby's father played at Harvard, and he was a captain of the Harvard football team. Clasby played at Notre Dame. He's not a premier defensive end, but he's a worker, a plugger.
He is. He's one of those guys that just gives you a good day's work. I think there are certain areas that the Cardinals want to look to improve their football team, and in the defensive line is probably one of those areas.
Lee Roussan is in there at the running back spot. Morris is out. 35 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Flags are down all over the place, and Roussan is down without getting a first down. While they sort this out, let's tell you that Joe Morris has gone over the 100 mark. He's hiding there. He's hard to find sometimes. 19 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Another big day for the little guy. You know, he looks a little out there in the football field. You sit and talk to him, you know, he's not that small.
Yeah, everybody talks about little guys. I was considered a little guy. He's a little guy.
You know, it's like
he's not a little guy.
Illegal motion, number 22 offense, 2 men moving. 2 men moving. Still second down.
Just smaller targets to hit, that's all.
That's right. In baseball, they talk about little Pete Rose. He weighs about 200 pounds.
In football, they call Joe Morris little because he's 195 pounds.
Ball's at midfield. Well, Indianapolis has changed their score against Buffalo. They have the worst record in football, and they'd have the rights to Testaverde, but now they're tied with Buffalo at 14-all. This is 2nd down and 8. Nice play by the linebacker on Bavaro. That was Freddie Joe Nunn staying with the tight end. This guy's had a tough season, his 2nd year in the NFL, but he's still learning. He's a lot like Anthony Bell, and if those 2 linebackers can progress, it would make the Cardinals better. That play takes us to 11 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and it's 3rd and 8 coming up.
Freddie Joe Nunn's played a lot better the last few weeks. He's been involved more in the pass rush. He's become a better run type of a defender, and now you see the type of pass cover man he is.
Duda checks in for the Cardinals. Thurman. And a comebacker, and that is caught for a first down by Bobby Johnson. That's a first down at the Cardinal 35, and there's no protest from the Cardinal sideline. Marks the end of the quarter. The end of the 3rd quarter, the score 20-0 Giants. A word from your local station. And we are across the Hudson here at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. The Giants have scored in each quarter, and they lead 20-0 with 15 minutes remaining to play. They're at the Cardinal 35 with a first down. They have Carthon and Joe Morris still in there. To St. Louis. Cedric Mack came away with a Joe Morris fumble. Now, the Cardinals have had a couple of good bounces today.
They have. Leonard Smith's going to make this hit. Joe Morris cuts up inside. See the blocking on Noga. Freddie Joe Nunn, E.J. Jr. try now from behind. Leonard Smith's going to hit the ball and just pop it up in the air. And Cedric Mack catches it on a short hop. Makes the fumble recovery.
And the Cardinals haven't had many good breaks.
They recovered 10 of 36 fumbles. Now you figure the norm in the National Football League is half.
And they've intercepted only 8 passes, but they do have the ball at their own 12. Mitchell and Farrell. So a first down pass inside to J.T. Smith and a first down catch. Now the game is either going to go one way or the other. The Giants are going to pile up more than 20 points, or the Cardinals, who are going to open up here, are going to make a run at them. Now Cleveland is going to win, apparently, their division, the Central of the AFC. And all of these other teams, Kansas City, the Raiders, and Seattle, and the Miami team, are hoping that Cleveland wins that game. Here's a pass to Marsh underneath, and that's a first down. Because you see, Cleveland had the best record going in of those two. So that's going to hurt Cincinnati if they do lose. And Green Bay coming here next Saturday is ahead of Tampa Bay. You see the Pack next Saturday on CBS. Buffalo and Indianapolis are tied in the fourth quarter. And here we have almost 15 minutes left in this game. Little short passes. They haven't gone deep against the Giants. We got the Cardinal 42. And a flag goes down. Farrell ran right into the arms of Eric Howard. And you know what Bill Parcells told us about him? He's only a rookie out of Washington State. He's going to be one of the best players in football.
There's holding penalty against the Cardinals again. Absolutely. Bill Parcells feels like Eric Howard.
Holding, number 58, offense. Penalty is declined. Second down.
So that's the second holding call on the big rookie center out of Texas, Gene Chilton.
Well, as I mentioned, Eric Howard is 6'4", 268 pounds. And Parcells, you know, he says it's not necessarily his size or his speed, but he's a guy who just gets so pumped up and so ready to play.
And how about when you can't play Jim Burt at the nose and you get this kid available? And also Jerome Sally. So the Giants are not only good, they have depth in second and 12. Cardinal 40, Marsh in motion. To Mitchell, using those blockers nicely. Big run by Mitchell. Boy, can he use that blocking. He stayed right there very patiently and finally was hauled down by Kenny Hill.
You know, we've talked a lot about Joe Morris and his ability to string out a sweep or string out a long play and then cut it up. It's a very similar play that the Giants run. There you see Marsh out in front on Banks. And you see him cut up inside. Stump Mitchell actually runs better to his left because he's got the bad right foot and he can't plant and cut upfield. He's had some of his biggest gains cutting back on the left side.
Lawrence Taylor acts as though his right hand is bothering him a little bit. We'll keep an eye on him. At the Giant 37 now. Look out, Neil. That's the most the Giants have sacked a quarterback all year. That's the 8th time, and Eric Howard, about whom we were just talking, got that sack.
Got rookie versus rookie, Howard on Chilton.
The Giant record for sacks in one game is 11. Today they have 8.
The only thing I can figure, if Lawrence is hurt a little bit, he might have gotten too close to some kryptonite, because that's the only way Superman can be nicked. I mean, somebody must have hung around there. There you see him try and make the play. Even stumbling, he still makes the tackle.
8 sacks of Lomax. Short pass out here to Farrell, and it was faded by the linebacker, Pepper Johnson, a rookie out of Ohio State. This looks like a track meet with Lawrence Taylor.
Down the lower part of your screen, you want to see how quick Lawrence Taylor is and the problem he presents. He's way away from the play. Now, he starts in and drops back, and there Farrell makes the catch. You see the tackle being made, but right at the top of your screen, Lawrence Taylor, that's his foot coming in. That's how close he is.
He's always there. 11:50 left in the game.
He told me once, you know, Joe, you can run, but you can't hide from me out here.
Troy Johnson is the third wide receiver for St. Louis on 3rd down and 16. And he coughed that one up in a hurry, and it went off the hands of J.T. Smith.
I think the Cardinals would love to see the Giants blitz. That way they'd have at least a quick opportunity to get rid of the football.
But they don't blitz that often.
They don't have to blitz that often, simply because of one man, Lawrence Taylor. His ability to put pressure on a quarterback all by himself allows that whole defense to play zone.
Standing ovation for the Giant defensive unit. And this is the 8th punt by Greg Cater. Phil McConkey is back there, trying for the out of bounds. Good play by the Cardinals to cover it at about the 3. There are no flags, and we have 11:25 left in the game. Freddie Joe Nunn downfield to down the ball. Brother Jamie up at Michigan would be proud of his older brother Joe. 20 rushes, Over 100 yards today, and look what that does for his career, Joe.
That's right. He breaks his own club record, 13:45, 12 TDs. Of course, his touchdown performance was up last year quite a bit, but this year his rushing record is up.
On the other hand, as Dallas hangs on to a 1-point lead over the Eagles, Sims is only 5 out of 20, starting from the 3-yard line. Carthon. They were keying on the other back. That's another thing that Morris does for you. He opens the way for Carthon, and Lonnie Young had to come up to make the tackle.
Well, that's why they ran the reverse earlier, because the defense reacts to where Joe Morris goes. Now you run the fullback up the middle, trying to pull the linebackers out.
Look at there, the 49ers and a field goal by Wersching have gone back on top in their game at New England. Both teams need that one badly. 2nd down and 2. Cardinals wrapped him up very quickly. We'll check the forward progress.
No, he made it.
He did.
Yeah, he made it.
Okay. It was Freddie Joe Nunn, David Galloway in on the hit, and Bill Parcells along the sideline. He said, as we look at Gene Stallings is going to have a different sort of winner than Parcells is going to have. Parcells said, I want to do it one time just to be able to say,
I did it.
I did it,
That's
meaning
right.
we, of course.
That's right, his football team. He wants to take that ball club all the way.
Now he's mad. It's 1st down and 10. 10 minutes left.
See Sims walk up and say, Zeke, move over on the other side.
2 tight ends, Mowat and Bavaro. Morris looking for that cutback, and Galloway and others pound him into the turf. 23 years ago, let's check the offense of this New York Giant team. Their offensive lineup 23 years ago. Their wide receivers, Del Schaffner, Joe Walden, Aaron Thomas. That rings some memory bells for you. Backfield, Phil King, Frank Gifford, Alex Webster, and Y.A. Tittle. The offensive line, Bookie Bolin, Darrell Dess, Greg Larson, the center, Rosie Brown, and Jack Stroud. The offensive line back in 1963 when the Giants last won it. 2nd down, 6. You know, it may sound funny to say the Cardinals are doing a pretty good job on defense. They trail 20-0. Morris has more than 100 yards, but they're still plugging away with Charlie Baker making that tackle.
It's not funny at all. They've done a great job on defense today. They really have. There's just been no field position for their offense whatsoever. I mean, it started right from the opening gun. The Cardinal offense has been a problem. Their defense has played very, very well. You know, they've held Sims to only 5 completions, and Bavaro there on the sidelines, you see. Looks like he either sprained an ankle or
you can bet Parcells won't ignore that. They have depth, of course. They have Zeke Mowat to play the tight end. It's 3rd down. 3rd down and 5. And a handoff inside to Galbraith. He dives for a 1st down. And the Giants keep the ball with 8:10 left in the game. Giants have scored in each quarter till now, and they lead 20-0. The old inside handoff, the famous Dallas Cowboys play.
Well, you know, the Dallas Cowboys really...
Preston Pearson, right?
They were pretty much responsible for the shotgun formation. Now a lot of teams have found a lot of success with it because of the amount of blitzing that's happening on defense as the quarterback has a chance to get the ball off.
Ball is at the New York 25. They're not resting anybody. It's still Carthon and Morris. Johnson in motion. Little Joe is brought down by Clasby, and the ball came loose. Cardinals have the ball with 7:27 left in the game. Clasby tore the ball away, and Freddie Joe Nunn came up with the ball, and the Giants have their shutout in jeopardy. Well, it's the 2nd turnover by New York.
You'll see Joe Morris run up inside again. Now he cuts it back. Bob Gillespie does a fine job of staying home, strips the ball away, lands right under Freddie Joe Nunn. The Cardinal defense has played very well today. Like I said, it's been field position that's really killed them. The whole 1st quarter, they were backed up with their backs against the wall and only gave up 7 points.
Second fumble by Morris, both of which were recovered by the Cardinals. This one at the New York 26. Mitchell and Farrell in the backfield. Green and J.T. Smith, the wide receivers. Just got back to the line of scrimmage, and he was buried. And with Leonard Marshall first there, number 70.
Well, instead of just there you see, instead of just rushing the front three people with Lawrence Taylor, they bring the linebackers, and from the right of your screen, there you see Elvis Patterson come in with a corner blitz that forces Lomax up inside to where a lot of people were waiting for him. That's not a very nice position to get yourself into.
Number 52, Pepper Johnson comes in the linebacker spot. Harry Reasons, the linebacker, is out. That's counted as a sack. That's number 9 against Lomax. 7 minutes left. Marsh, the tight end, broke away, and he is out of bounds at the 15, and that's a first down. He really pushed the linebacker, Carl Banks, off of him. 11 yards.
Well, this is part of New York's philosophy too, is they said, look, we're just gonna jam up your wide receivers. There's Roy Green. Now, the only place to really go with the football, you've got J.T. Smith inside, Roy Green outside. The corners have run off, and you see the help from them. There's nobody left to throw to but the tight end. Neil Lomax does a good job in just finding Doug Marsh.
Marsh really handled Carl Banks, who tried to make the tackle. First down at the 15. And off to Mitchell. Throw the ball. Ineligible man downfield. Now that's a touchdown. Who is downfield? Nobody. That's a touchdown. A touchdown to Roy Green, and it's incredible that none of the linemen were downfield.
And I don't think that was a called play. I got to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think that one was called.
Mitchell throws to Green for 6.
I think the offensive linemen were so busy. They were so busy trying to help stump Mitchell that they never got downfield.
Leonard Marshall had a hold of Mitchell, and he broke out of it.
Harry Carson's got a shot at him. Hedden's got a shot at him. Now he just says, I'll throw it.
And Roy Green caught it. That's his 6th touchdown pass reception of the year.
The way the Cardinals have played, that could be their highlight film.
And the extra point try by Schubert is good. We have a 20-7 game with 6:37 remaining in the contest. Joe, I've never met anybody who didn't admire Stump Mitchell.
You're absolutely right. When I used to play against him when I was a Redskin, I always used to worry when he got his hands on the football all year long for the Cardinals this year. He's been the man that's never stayed out of the lineup and never complained.
And more than that, around St. Louis, when they want something done on the community level, they call Stump, and he says yes. Rusam from the 10, and he did not get to the 20-yard line. Next Sunday here on CBS, the final weekend of the regular season, Redskins trying to get back on the winning track, play at Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay plays at St. Louis. It's a doubleheader day on CBS television next Sunday. The Bears against the Dallas Cowboys before the Bears go into the playoffs. Even if Dallas doesn't, Dallas still alive at this moment.
You know, the Redskins made a change a few weeks back to get Max Sendejas in as a kicker and traded Mark Mosley to Cleveland, and it still doesn't look like the Redskins have solved that kicking problem.
New York playing their first string club all the way. Sims to Morris. And Morris is taken down after getting a couple. 6:20 left in the game. We're checking out for Mark Bavaro, the tight end who limped off earlier, and he is not in there. Zeke Mowat is playing. We'll get a report on Bavaro for you. The Giants really need him.
The Cardinals continue to get Leonard Smith involved, their strong safety, in trying to turn Joe Morris back inside.
Atlanta continues to muddle the playoff picture by staying ahead in their game. 2nd and 8 here. 5:50 remaining. Johnson in motion. Morris again. Noga made him go back inside, and Noga helped make the tackle. You want to take a look at a tough-looking guy. Not only tough-looking, but he is tough. That Noga is something. He is from American Samoa. And he is a mean-looking dude. His
Boy, he
brother's
is.
a heck of a football player for the University of Hawaii.
Well, you know, he wears T-shirts around with bombs going off and bullet holes in it. You know, to get ready. You know, some people, they watch different games on a Saturday night before a ball game. He watches Commando and Terminator, movies like that, just to get him in the right frame of mind.
We're coming up on the 5-minute mark, and it's 3rd down and 6 for the Giants. Sims rolls to stay out of trouble and got rid of it and threw it low and incomplete. 4th down. He was trying to get it out to Stacy Robinson, and pressure on the receiver by Cedric Mack, and David Galloway was chasing Sims.
Again, David Galloway, it seems like we always call his name, either making a tackle or chasing the quarterback down. He's really played well up front for the Cardinals.
The Cardinals have just scored, force New York to punt for the 5th time today. So we said at the outset of the telecast here, they are working, talking about St. Louis.
Absolutely. They're not giving anything up.
Vendetta kicking to Sikahema. Nice kick. Good coverage, too. Sikahema. 2 yards, more than a few, and out across the 40. Sikahema, an outstanding rookie for the Cardinals. Good special teams player. Byron Hunt made that tackle. Joe Cribbs has scored to put the 49ers on top by 12 points. 49ers trying to win their 9th game of the year, and that would really hurt Minnesota if the 49ers win this game, because Washington is already one of the wild card teams, and Minnesota plays Houston later today at 4 o'clock. And next week we have Washington at Philadelphia, and the 49ers have to play the Rams. Minnesota will have a tough opponent in New Orleans. Dallas is still in the picture, and they play Chicago. So the league loves this as we go right down to the nub. What do you think? Who do you think the teams are going to be, Joe?
Well, you know, Washington, they're in. They've got to travel to Philadelphia. And the Philadelphia Eagles are an improving football team, and the Redskins are having trouble playing on the road. The 49ers are playing good football now back with Joe Montana. They could not only win the division, but get that wild card.
Let's see if the Cardinals can score quickly and add some drama to this one. J.T. Smith inside the 40. The ball came loose. Belongs to New York. Running back with it is Welch. New York has the ball at their own 48, and that really changes things. Instead of the Cardinals being inside the New York 40, the Giants are outside their 45. And it is Kenny Hill who is shaken up on the play.
Lomax going back in the pocket now. J.T. Smith just comes around and makes a nice throw. Gets it right over the linebacker's head now. You see that shot that Kenny Hill gave him. He hurt himself. He hit him so hard.
And it was picked up by Welsh. And Kenny Hill walks off the field. And J.T. Smith is the one who coughed it up. Now we have a discussion in the middle of the field. I don't know what this is all about, but the Giants are going to keep the ball. I didn't see any flag go down on the far side of the field.
Neil Lomax is right in the middle of that looking for an explanation. I can't see what they're talking about. The ball was clearly free if it had to do with the reception before JT ever hit the ground.
Yeah, JT caught it, ran with it, was hit and fumbled.
That's a sign of a good veteran quarterback. See Phil Simms get in there. He says, look, Lomax is in there with the officials. I got to get in here and find out what's going on and put my 2 cents in just in case.
4.5 left in the game. The ball does belong to the Giants, and I think any chance of a dramatic finish faded on that one. I want to see some sagging shoulders. They belong to J.T. Smith, who walked off the field. That could have really changed this game, Joe.
Well, it could. It would have gotten them down in better field position. Of course, the Giants were real tough throughout the entire ball game, but you know, it would have made it a little closer.
Good news for the Giants. Mark Bavaro is back in the lineup. He limped off earlier. Tackled by Noga as the Giants try to run this clock down.
Well, I think they will. I don't think you'll see the Giants put the ball in the air. Even if they get into a 3rd and long situation, you'll probably look for a draw. Every time you run a play, you're going to run about 45 seconds off the clock. You know, they've got a 13-point lead. They feel very comfortable. Got one of the best kickers, if not the best kicker in football. A lot of things going for them to win this one.
The ball is to the Cardinal 48, and it's 2nd down and 6. They keep Carthon in there along with Morris. 4 minutes left.
That was a shot at Carl Carter, who's got a banged-up shoulder.
Charlie Baker, the linebacker, was really teeing off. Of course, the Cardinals can afford to do that now when they know that the Giants are going to run the ball.
Well, not only that, even early in the ball game, we saw the Cardinals stay back a little bit, and the Giants pick up a lot of yardage. As soon as the Cardinals commit to the blitz to try and stop the run, they've been very effective.
That fumble a moment ago by J.T. Smith apparently has nailed down another loss, which will be the 11th of the year for St. Louis, trailing by 13.
You know, the Giant fans sit here and they wait in hopefully not seeing one of those fumbles where the Eagles pick one up and ran it in back a few years ago.
Kenny Hill sprained his ankle, but he will be back, and Phil Simms calls timeout. That's the first timeout expended here in the second half by either club. And we have 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the game. And Simms will go to the sideline to talk it over with the offensive coordinator. A while ago, we showed you the offensive unit of the Giants in 1963. How about those people on the other side of the ball? The defensive line, Jim Cabbage, Andy Robustelli, Dick Modulewski, and John Lovetier. The linebackers were Hillebrand, Scott, and Huff, and the defensive backs, Dick Lynch, Erich Barnes, Dick Pessinen, and Jim Patton. It was 23 years ago that the Giants last won the division.
That's a very comfortable seat the Giants are sitting on. Those are heated benches. And as cool as it is outside, it's cooler inside.
We have 3 minutes and 8 seconds left in this game. Say, didn't anybody know that a 25-year-old psychotic armed with a rifle might go berserk at any moment, go on a killing spree? Her mother knew it, tried to warn the authorities, but no one would listen. 60 Minutes tonight on CBS, and following 60 Minutes, Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. And then the Hallmark Hall of Fame, Promise, starring James Garner, a story of two brothers. James Wood co-stars with him, and all of that is tonight on CBS. And Joe, I would really look forward to watching that movie on CBS, Promise. They say it is terrific. Ball at midfield. 3rd and 7. Toss to Morris. Give it a go. Touchdown! Touchdown! No. At the 1. Officials, Ed Merrifield, has no flair for the dramatic. He said it's down at the 1-foot line.
I don't think he heard you.
76-yard run. Carthon blew him loose.
Well, here you see Carthon go in motion. Now watch the block on Leonard Smith. He kicks him out and allows Joe Morris to cut up inside. As I talked about, the Cardinals over-pursued. And Joe Morris is exceptionally tough on AstroTurf. He just puts the pedal to the metal. And Lionel Washington comes a long way to make the tackle.
They show a replay of it here, and the fans think that he was in the end zone.
And all the offensive linemen for the Giants are signaling touchdown.
The official said, why do you have to re-show that thing? The official was right, Joe.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to give it to him.
You can't do that. He wants. We have come to the 2-minute warning. That official wants a postseason game. He's not going to call it a touchdown.
Here's another view of it.
Not a touchdown.
Right.
Good call. Nice call, Mr. Merrifield. You were right. To the goal line, but not over yet. Did he get over? I haven't seen anybody signal a touchdown. I haven't seen it yet. Did you, Joe?
Well, everybody in the stands did. And, yep,
it is a touchdown. That's the 3rd of the day for Joe Morris. And it adds to the Giant lead, 26-7.
You can talk about Joe Morris's running ability, but Carthon has done a tremendous job lead blocking for him. Of course, you don't want to downplay the fact that Morris has had such a great afternoon, but Maurice Carthon has really made Joe Morris pick up a lot of yards today.
Morris has scored on touchdowns of 1 yard, 2 yards, and 3 yards. And 2 field goals by Allegre, who is now trying the extra point. That's good. 27-7 with 1:57 remaining in the game. The fumble by J.T. Smith set that one up, going back the other way, and penalties helped the Giants onto a couple of scores earlier. Next Saturday, the Green Bay Packers come to town. Now, these Giants have been working out, taking 2 days off and working out only on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but they'll have to get ready for a Saturday game, and it starts at 12 Eastern with the NFL Today on CBS. And then on Sunday, then a full schedule of games for you on Sunday, but later on Saturday, we have collegiate basketball. Illinois, number 6, North Carolina, number 5, and that's bound to be a good one. Now, the Sunday football games on CBS, it's a doubleheader day. We'll get to those in a moment, but one of the games is Chicago and Dallas. That's the doubleheader game.
Washington and Philadelphia. That's the other one.
Allegre kicking off. Sikahema comes up and took it on the 20. Pass out to the 35-yard line. Good return man by Sikahema. Here are those Sunday games. The Redskins at Philadelphia. Joe Theismann and I will be there. Or Tampa Bay at St. Louis. The Chicago Bears play the Cowboys in the second game of the doubleheader. And look at there. Philadelphia is going to eliminate Dallas perhaps today, leading 16-14. And Green Bay ahead of Tampa Bay by 14. And Cleveland's going to win the Central Division of the AFC. And Indianapolis is winning a game by 3.
They got to be careful.
And New Orleans are going to knock off Atlanta and knock them out of the playoffs. And the 49ers are winning. Lomax on first down, drops it off short to Earl Farrell. Farrell got about 7 yards, tackled by Gary Reasons.
This is the only time in the football game that Neil Lomax can feel like he can get back in a pocket and have a little bit of time to look over the secondary.
3-man rush. He ran for a first down, and Lawrence Taylor is really smart. You know, he's a smart football player. He could have tackled Lomax, but he figured, why should I do that? He's got the first down. I'll tackle him out of bounds, get a flag, let him go.
That's a difference in a football player that takes cheap shots and one that understands how to play the game. When you're as good as Lawrence Taylor, you don't ever have to hit anybody late or unnecessarily.
Hey, Joe, your old buddy Mark Mosley has a couple of field goals for Cleveland. They're way ahead now at Cincinnati, 34-3 with 8.5 minutes left.
I'll tell you, Mark knew he had a lot of kicking left in him, and he has an opportunity now to move on into the playoffs.
1:27 left in this game. 1:27. First down, 3-man rush. Lomax has it intercepted. Running back with it is Gary Reasons, and that's his second of the year. And the Cardinal turnover today is the second. With 1:19 left. And it looks like Bill Parcells is going to get a cold shower out there in the field before much longer.
Which one of those buckets will go over his head? That's going to be the question. I think the Giants have to feel real good about what happened here this afternoon. They didn't want to just get into the division title. They wanted to feel like they earned their way there.
You know, some people complain that it was ridiculous to dump that ice on Parcells. He said, I don't mind, man. It's a little fun. He said, let's have a little fun in life.
It's not only fun, but it's childish. But you got to remember, there's nothing but a bunch of kids out here playing football.
Tough kids. Tough kids.
Real tough kids.
We're going to run the clock down, and apparently 27-7 will be our final. Now the whistle blows, and the Cardinals use one of their timeouts.
The Giants really wanted to win today, and of course again next Saturday, because they're really seeking that home field advantage. They want Chicago, if they get that far, to have to come here like they had to go there last year. And
of course they might get some help from Detroit. That's the game with Chicago at Detroit. Somebody's getting ready over there with that bucket to dump on their coach Parcells. Parcells says, he said, he said, these guys, I get close to these guys. We're friends. He said, they never cross the line. They know what the line is. He's a little bit wary.
You think he's looking over his shoulder?
He's gotten rid of some of the ammunition, but they'll come up with some more.
They'll find something over there to dump over, man. Parcells has had it done enough to him that he realizes something's going on.
Joe, let's you and I and all of us associated with CBS congratulate the Giants on winning their division. They're a heck of a football team.
They're a good football team, and I'd have to say odds-on favorite right now. They're the ones that look like they have the best chance to go all the way.
Now another snap of the ball will start the clock. 1:12 remaining. And here it comes. Look out, Coach. Look out, Coach. You might as well relax and enjoy it, Bill. You're going to get it, big boy. And a boy! He says you'll see a smile on his face. He likes it. It's fun. And the fans are to the point where they start looking for it now.
I think it was Sean Lendetta's job to keep Bill Parcells occupied while Harry went around and got the bucket.
You saw that Dallas went back ahead of Philadelphia, striving to stay alive in the playoff picture. And Indianapolis is going to win another game, and that will be their second of the year. Still the fewest number of wins. NFL Today post-game show coming up. Scores and highlights, plenty to talk about, and Brent Musburger will sort out the playoff picture and have an update on the Dallas game. Now St. Louis uses another timeout. Here's Elvis Patterson, who started back at the left cornerback today. Carl Banks, one of the many good linebackers. Now Philadelphia goes back ahead of Dallas on a pass from Kavanaugh.
Kenny Jackson.
To Kenny Jackson.
You know, you got to give a lot of credit to this St. Louis Cardinal defensive football team, too. They have gone out and played really, really tough. They started out with bad field position all day long, and they've hung right in. And it really hasn't been their fault that the score's the way it is.
Let's say hello to Gene Stallings' son back home, John. I know you've come to be a good buddy of his. He's a special kid.
He sure is. He's a special young man. I know he's feeling it for his dad today and wishes his father could win, but I guarantee you he'll be out there next Saturday at practice.
And you're not going to play for Gene Stallings and not call timeouts at the end of the game to try to get a hold of the ball no matter what the score is.
The term give up does not fit into his vocabulary, nor will it fit into his football team's vocabulary. I think the Cardinals are a team that have suffered through a tough season, but they're on the rise and they're building.
Here comes the punt from Vendetta. This will be the 6th punt of the day by Vendetta. Sikahema is inside his 20. I got to blow the whistle because of the contact on the line. You think Parcells is cold out there?
He's freezing right now.
He's rigid.
The guy.
Encroachment defense.
They call it against the Cardinals.
Of course, Lawrence Taylor down on the bottom, as you see, kneeling down.
Yeah, if I were that coach, I'd take good care of number 56 because he's going to take good care of his coach.
That's exactly right. You keep him close.
Well, Atlanta is out of the playoff picture. It would have taken a fantastic combination of events to keep them in, but they were dumped. Plenty for Brent Musburger to talk about on the post-game show here on CBS. 1:08 remaining in the game. The Giants will win their 13th game of the year. Sikahema is going to get whacked. No? Yep, at the 15-yard line. So the Cardinals have it for the final 55 seconds of the football afternoon. Robbie Jones was downfield to make that tackle, and the Giants trying to get the home field advantage. They've played their front line players all afternoon and very likely will do so again next Saturday against Green Bay here.
Well,
however, if the Bears lose to Detroit, that would make a difference.
It would make a difference. It also is a thing where you don't want to give your players too much time off. Having won the division title, they're going to have 2 weeks to rest anyway. You want to keep your guys playing football.
The last time the Giants won 13 games were back in the 1929-30 season. Lomax drills it out here to Roy Green, and he's trying to get out of bounds and does. 46 seconds left in the game. That's the third catch for Roy. And the tackle by Byron Hunt. There's Godfrey, who played a good game at the right guard position. And there is the rookie nose tackle, Eric Howard, out of Washington State. And Gene Stallings. Stallings told me a little story the other day. He said, a westward movement, they hooked up the wagons, and after that they built a railroad, and some people rode the railroad. He said, I want the guy who hooks up those wagons. I don't want anybody taking a ride. There's a screen pass. A couple of good blocks, and Mitchell is out of bounds with 40 seconds left. You hear some noise down there, don't we? And it was Johnson who popped him out of bounds. Now let's look at the NFC playoff picture. Giants have won their division. Bears have won theirs. The Rams are leading theirs with a record of 10-4. Rams play later today, and the Bears play on Monday at Detroit. Washington is in the playoff. The 49ers winning today. Minnesota plays at 4 o'clock. Dallas is losing. Atlanta's been eliminated. The Cardinals have no more timeouts remaining, so they have a hurry-up offense, and you can check the clock. The 13th win for New York, the division champions. And Musburger will be busy sorting out the playoff picture for you. That stops the clock with 19 seconds left. Mr. Theismann, I shall see you in Philly next week.
Yes, we shall be there. It should be a good football game.
The Redskins, and they've got to get their act together if they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs. Of course, they have the home game.
And they also have a great punter in Steve Cox. They've got to work out the combination of Jeff Bostic at center, Jay Schrader the holder, and Max Endeas. Something there hasn't been right for them all year, and they've got to solve that problem if they want to move on into the playoffs.
New England trailing, and if they lose, they'll have the same record as the Jets. And Cleveland is going to end up with 11 wins. Denver has 11 wins. Screen pass. Farrell running with the ball, and the Cardinals get a first down, but they can't stop the clock. And 27-7 is our final. Robbie Jones made the last tackle of the day. Parcells heads for Gene Stallings. These two coaches, these two teams will meet a couple of times next year. Stallings said, you know, I like all these coaches, but I wish they'd do away with that handshake after the game. And congratulations again to the winning Giants.
Again over in the Meadowlands, and Irv, you and I were talking. We think the Giants are the best team in pro football. It doesn't matter much. They got to play on a field.
Well, they're playing with a lot of confidence because everybody knows they have a great defense. But, you know, how about the biggest little giant of them all?
Oh, he's something, Joe Morris.
Oh,
Irv and Jimmy, we've got everybody synced up with us now, so let's take you through the scores and get you up to date. I know this is redundant for some of you, but bear with us here, and then we'll have some highlights momentarily. But the Giants, with an impressive win now over the Cardinals, 27-7 was the final score. And for those of you who did not see the Giant game, let's take you through some of the key moments. Now, Irv mentioned Joe Morris. Boy, he had a 2-touchdown afternoon and almost scored a third time. And he is so tough to bring down. Watch how he darts for his daylight, cuts, sometimes runs to the corner. And Gene Stallings had very good reason to be upset over there on the Cardinals sideline, and his offense didn't have any time, Irv.
Well, here's the problem. When Morris isn't carrying the ball, you have these guys knocking your quarterback down. Eric Howard gets a sack here.
Now watch Joe Morris on this run, Irv.
Like that. Really great cutback ability. Everybody knows he has that. Doesn't have great speed, but he gets down inside the 1-yard line. This little guy ran for over 1,400 yards this year.
All right, he was down there on the one, and the Giants pounded in 27-7. Giant fans know, and the rest of you should know, that a win over the Green Bay Packers next Saturday here on CBS, Giants would have the home field for as far as they go in the playoffs. The last 5 championships in the NFC have all been won by the team that had the home field advantage. So, Jimmy the Greek, it's an enormous edge.
not to go to Chicago in that George Hallis. I remember how he blocked that punt or missed the punt. Hallis came down and did it, Brent. I'm telling you.
Landeta fanned on that punt when the wind was blowing in Soldier Field. We should point out for Landeta, the last time I checked, he's a leading punter in the NFC, so he has certainly come back and overcome that problem of a year ago in Soldier Field. Now, down in Dallas, the Herschel Walker show. But, folks, it wasn't good enough. The Eagles leading the Cowboys 23-21. Cowboys are already knocked out because of the performance today by the 49ers. And watch here. Walker on a beautiful hesitation, cut back, and then the speed does the rest.
Well, I tell you, you know, he runs so easily and so smoothly. Everybody knows he's a world-class sprinter. Ronald Young, giving it everything he has, can't get him until he gets to the end zone. Too late.
Now, Eagles were able to get ahead of Matt Cavanaugh. And then they came back again, and they chucked that one to Herschel Walker, and here he went on his 84-yard touchdown reception. That on the pass from Palleur, and Walker put 2 long touchdowns on the board, but it wasn't good enough because the Eagles kept coming back.
Yeah, Matt Cavanaugh comes back here with a pretty good pass to Kenny Jackson. Makes a great catch on it, well covered, but he comes down with it, and the Eagles right back in this ball game.
All right, Nerve, so as the result of that action, with those 2 games now final, let's check the standings. There are the Giants at 13-2. Now, the Redskins sitting at 11-4, but they will have the home field advantage for the NFC wildcard game. The Dallas Cowboys at 7-7. That game's still up in the air. Now, we're going to tell you the story of the AFC Central. What an explosion by the Cleveland Browns. We'll have that when the NFL Today postgame show, sponsored by Miller Lite, continues in just a moment. The development in the Vinny Testaverde sweepstakes at the scoreboard, and it'll tell you the story. And guess who won again today? That's right, Ron Meyer. Maybe we should make him the coach of the year. 2 in a row. The Colts come from behind. They beat the Bills. Jim Kelly was knocked out, however. He complained of dizziness. Now, Tampa Bay, as the result of their loss today at the Packers, they move into a tie. But if those 2 teams are deadlocked at the end of the year, Tampa Bay has played the weaker schedule. They would get the first-round draft choice. Cleveland and Cincinnati. Here's a story that unfolded down in Cincinnati. Hard to believe that the Bengals, with all those weapons, could not score a single touchdown against the Browns. Bernie Kosar almost immediately went deep to Langhorne. It was a 66-yard gain, and this set up the Browns' first touchdown of the afternoon. Marty Schottenheimer, a former defensive assistant, you knew his defense was going to play well, but the questions surrounded Kosar. Could he win the big game? He showed again, just like he did down at Miami, that he's tough in a big game. This one to Slaughter, and it was 14-3, and the Slaughter continued. Watch him go here to Webster Slaughter for another touchdown, and they made it look very easy. The fumble was recovered for a score. 34-3 was the final. And so the Browns wrap up the AFC Central 11-4. Speaking of Coach of the Year, there's a man who deserves a lot of credit. He's a coach of the Giants.
Hi, Joe.
Let's go live to the Meadowlands where Bill Parcells is. Congratulations, Coach.
27-7 was the final score, and our congratulations to Bill Parcells for winning the division, and today, Bill, winning your 13th game of the year.
Well, thank you, Jack. I'll tell you, it was a struggle, and you know, we kind of started a little bit slow. We had a chance early in the game to hit a big play, and we didn't get it done, and didn't take care of the ball real well there for a while today, but our guys got a lot of pride, and they fought hard.
Bill, before we go any further, thanks for being so very nice to us whenever we have visited with you before a game.
Oh, well, you know, Jack, you got to keep all the friends you can.
You know, you're not smiling very much. I know you have another game and a short work week with Green Bay coming in here next Saturday.
Well, that's right. We got a lot more to do, and you know, we've been kind of staying pretty steady most of the year, and that's what we're going to try to keep doing. And if we can, I think, you know, we can continue to play well. If we don't, you know, in football, you either get better or you get worse.
What else do you have to do, Coach?
Pardon me, Jack?
What else do you have to do to get your team primed for where you're going?
Well, I like to try and get a little bit more balance in our offense, you know. We got the running going a little bit today, but we weren't consistent. You know, we hit a couple big plays on the running game, but we didn't, you know, we didn't establish a lot of consistency in it. Not too many 5- and 6-yard gains, so I think we got to keep doing that because we're going to need it in the cold weather up here.
And you held your breath when a couple of your players came off hurt, like Patterson and Bavaro. Meanwhile, how did this feel, Coach, with that bucket of water?
Oh, that Carson, I'll tell you. I'm going to get him one of these days for that.
You can't tell me it didn't make you colder than you were.
No, it's cold. It's cold, that's for sure, Jack.
Good luck along the way, and the very best to you, Coach.
Thanks, Jack.
Bill Parcells and his Giants won it 27-7, their 13th victory, and back to Brent.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. He'll take those showers as long as they're offered. And, Jimmy the Greek, I know you think Parcells has done a great job this year.
Remember when they were thinking of firing him and
That's
we stuck up for him?
That was, what, about 3 years ago, and then he finally turned it around. Defensive assistant, he replaced Ray Perkins, and what a job that he has gone. All right, final seconds moments ago down in Dallas. Cowboys trailing the Philadelphia Eagles. They had time for one last desperate play, and here's how it unfolded. From the shotgun, Hilaire going deep, and Irv Cross start the celebration in Philadelphia. Your Eagles have beaten the Cowboy. Buddy Ryan, he finally won a division game, and what a long, tough year for that man, Tom Landry. First time in 20 years they have had a losing season. And the NFL Today postgame show, brought to you by Miller Lite, continues in just a moment. Well, we welcome those of you who watched the Philadelphia Eagles upset the Dallas Cowboys to our postgame show. Let's take everybody up to the top of the scoreboard and again run through what has happened this afternoon. The Giants, with this win, are positioned to have the home field advantage throughout the remainder of the playoffs if they can beat the Packers in the Meadowlands next Saturday. You'll see that action here on CBS. Here is the upset down in Dallas, and now the Cowboys are not going to have a winning season for the first time in 20 years, and they are knocked completely out of the playoff picture by the Eagles. Buddy Ryan's first NFC East Division team victory with his Eagles this year. Another upset. Indianapolis, you can see, is now losing that first-round pick because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have lost again to the Green Bay Packers, and you can see what that does with the Cleveland Browns having wrapped up a division title today, 34-3 over the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a terribly impressive win by the Browns. They kept the Bengals out of the end zone, and Bernie Kosar again improved in the clutch. Now, I was ahead of myself. Here's the story on the Indianapolis Colts, 24-14. The Colts are in danger of dropping out of the Vinny Testaverde sweepstakes. Meanwhile, New Orleans and Atlanta, the Falcons had a chance to score in the closing seconds, could not, and the Saints come away with the win, 14-9, the final there. San Francisco continues to drive toward the playoffs, 29-24 over the Patriots. They came from behind in this game, and let's take a look at this. And originally, well, the 49ers were stopped on 4th and goal. They went back down, and Roger Craig got in, and they were up by 3, 13-10. Now, they had some extra point problems here because of a bad snap. It was not handled by the holder, so Wershing never even got an opportunity to kick it, and everybody thought, oh boy, that is the point that is going to keep them out. Then later, Tony Collins zipped in, and New England moved ahead 17-16. But Irving Fryer was helped off with an injury, and a very big injury as far as the Patriots are concerned. Eason had Collins there, missed him. Keena Turner picked it off for the 49ers, and Joe Cribbs took the handoff around left in and went on in. And Irv, how good are these 49ers? Jimmy thinks they're one of the best in the league.
Well, they are one of the best in the league when they're healthy, and they're getting to the point now where they're starting to get some of their players off that injury list and going into the playoffs. They're going to be off the cliff.
I know, that's what I've been trying to tell him.
I get the picture. They're a pretty good football team. San Francisco, way to go. Now, here are the active scores that are still going on now. Miami and the Rams, and let me put this one in focus for a moment. If the Rams win, they wrap up the NFC West title, and a loss keeps the 49ers in the running for a division championship. Rams and 49ers will close out next Friday night. Vikings are hoping the Rams can beat the Niners and thus have a chance. Meanwhile, the Raiders' tailspin continues. Marcus Allen fumbled moments ago, and it was recovered, and now the Chiefs are up by 10. And Jimmy, I'll tell you, it looks as though Kansas City might close them out today.
I'm afraid so, Brent. I'll tell you, their offense is not doing well, and their defense, you know, missing Hayes in that corner cost them a touchdown just now, too.
All right, so Kansas City is up 10-0, and they are in the first quarter. Now, Seattle and San Diego and the Seahawks with an outside shot. They still need a combination, but they're not out of it yet. They lead the Chargers 3-0. They are in the first quarter. Now, the Minnesota-Houston game. Jerry Burns has done a great job of coaching this team, and they can get into the playoffs if they beat Houston And if they beat New Orleans, and that won't be easy next week, by the way, beating the New Orleans Saints, that's a pretty tough football team, but they need the 49ers to lose in that situation. So I guess Jimmy the Greek would have to make the Niners the favorite to get the wild card.
Well, they're a slight favorite. I would say about 2.5 to 1.
All right. Well, Herb and Jimmy, you stick around. We've got more of our post-game activities for those of you who watched the Philadelphia Eagles upset the Dallas Cowboys. For the rest of you, we say goodbye for the time being. We'll see you next Saturday when it's the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants on CBS.